Hey everybody, good morning. Y'all know it's the Sabbath day. It's the Sabbath again. I've got a runny nose again. Man, I swear, I've had more boogers this damn winter than all my freaking life put together. Anyway, I am here. And I'm here for the 100th day in a row. This is my 100th day in a row of going live, debating Christians. Oh, and what a great day to do debates is the Sabbath day. That's a really good day to debate Christians. It's just, just really fun. You know how it is. We usually whip out the Sabbath day unjust debate criteria. Anyway, welcome in, welcome through, welcome back to the Apostate Ape channel, where we debate Christians and sometimes the Hebrew Israelite dudes. I'm not sure there is. I've never met a female Israelite person. Anyway, welcome in. This is the channel where you can watch an undereducated hick from Alabama perform an intellectual takedown of the Christian faith, doctrine, and logic for your entertainment. But also hopefully to make the world a better place, because when these Abrahamic religions are gone, it's got to be better, right? Because they're making it worse. So it's just, simple logic and stuff. We do it to combat the rise of this ridiculous Christian nationalism, which is absolutely ridiculous. They're trying to take us back to the medieval ages, and I don't want to go back. So I do this channel, hopefully to change minds. Lots of people who've got, actual brains up in their head don't like this kind of shit. And then some people do, sadly. But anyway, here we are. And y'all know that the best friend of the channel is Dr. Joshua Bowen, our man. The PhD scholar, the Hebrew Bible scholar that frequents the channel all the time. And he is the man, and you can learn his knowledge from his amazing books that you can purchase from Amazon, Audible, all kind of places actually. And you can help support our best friend, Dr. Josh, and his wonderful family, and learn some amazing shit at the same time. Anyway, 100 days in a row. The loop of, what does that say? The loop of, okay, let's say some, the loop of sound. Hang out for just a second there. I'll bring you up. We'll get the day started if you request it up on purpose, that is. Also, don't forget, October, Huntsville, Alabama. It's going down. 23rd, 24th, and 25th. And you can get your tickets to join the biggest atheist debaters that YouTube has to offer, that TikTok has to offer. You can hang out with us for 3 whole days if you like. You can get your tickets for that at rocketcityreason.com. Now, welcome in to day 100. I have a fucking runny nose again. I'm a booger factory this winter. But I cannot help it. But anyway, besides that, felt pretty good. So I am here. So let's do it again. If we actually have somebody to debate right now. Like, Loop, are you there?
Yes, host. Thank you for platforming me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Are you over 18?
Yes, 52.
That's a good age. Awesome. Are you one of the Christians or Israelites?
I was baptized in 1983, and the first Christian church here in town. I still go to that church, so I am Christian.
Cool. So
Yeah.
which one of these topics you want to talk to us about today?
Is there one that stands out that you find most fascinating, that you tend to enjoy most discussing with Christians?
Not really. Those are all pretty good, and they're all reasons I left the faith myself. So, I mean,
Yeah,
whichever you feel strongest about.
I'm wondering if I could learn more about your journey, because it's always interesting when I come across someone who's examined Christianity. The question I'll ask is what say you about the Holy Spirit after like going about Christianity and stuff? That to me would be fascinating.
You mean, what do I say about the Holy Spirit?
Because you had said a former Christian, and I think I did see that coming in that you said you were a former Christian, and I'm wondering, did you experience the Holy Spirit while you were in that?
Yeah, thought I did a bunch of times anyway.
Did you? Okay, so there was that feeling, and then I wonder what, and I'm sure it's not as simple, or it could be super simple. What was it that changed your direction?
The Bible, for the most part.
The book itself. It didn't make sense to you.
No, it did make sense. That's why I left, because it
Oh,
doesn't actually make sense.
yeah, right, right. When you look at it, you're like, this thing doesn't make sense. We would
Well,
call at our
that and this
church.
God seems atrociously evil, so I don't worship evil gods.
Yeah, at our church we would call you. Did you pick another deity? Like, do you have the Vishnu or the Buddha? Or, I mean, are you atheist now?
Yeah, I'm just an atheist. Yeah.
Because there's nothing. Yeah, there's nothing that guides you. We would call you a law. You're a law unto yourself. So, which means
A
that
what?
you're a law unto yourself, which means that you determine what it is, your pathways, the fruit. If you have fruit, then the fruit comes from you. It doesn't come from, like, the fruit of the Spirit for me comes from the Holy Spirit. That's the only way I have the fruit of the Spirit. But you can have the fruit of the Spirit without Christ if you're a law unto yourself. Yeah, so you've chosen, because you can be a patient person without being Christian. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See,
You
I
can
knew
do
that.
anything you want to without Christianity except be a Christian, I guess.
Yeah, I see it the other way. I see myself as limited should I relinquish the deity, so to speak. So I,
Okay.
I cling I cling to the deity. Yeah, not necessarily the book though. I'm not white knuckling the book because that's kind of an afterthought. The book really,
Oh,
yeah.
well, so do you got one of these topics you want to talk about, or?
Well, obviously, let's see. So God being evil isn't necessarily something that I visit, but I can. I don't want to talk about that second thing, and let's see the Messiah. Okay, let's talk about that first thing. Now, which God? Okay, so let's talk about evil. Are we going to talk about heinous topics? It's not going to get profane, is it? I can't necessarily join lives and get
I
profane and talk
I
about
just
heinous things.
I just read the Bible.
Okay, there's that. Because there were 12 tribes in the Bible that thought they were hearing things right, but when Jesus showed up, he said, "Where's the giants? Where's Goliath and his family?" And they said, "You told us to throw stones at them." And Jesus said, "You shouldn't throw a stone at a defenseless woman, let alone giants. Now you humans are stuck here on the planet without giants, you goofs." So the heinous, they say, "You told us to go into villages and go scorched earth," and Jesus is like, "I'm telling you, you needed to go in there and make sure they were taken care of and loved, nurtured your enemies, not anything heinous, certainly not throwing a stone at them." So
No.
there's that. Once you get to the end, you
Well, what
see,
about the guy that God ordered to die because he picked up sticks on the Sabbath?
yeah, they brought him forth, and this outcome. And which one are you speaking of? Because there's instances of this throughout. Is it the what's his name? The stick person that you speak of? That was. Do you
It
remember
never
his
gave
name?
his name. It's a story in Numbers. It just says the guy was
Yeah,
picking up sticks
numbers.
on the Sabbath and they found him. Nobody knew what to
Yeah.
do with him, so they
When
asked God, and God said to kill him.
when Jesus showed up, he said, "Remember that stick guy? Where's he? Where's his family?" And they're like, "Well, we thought you said this." And Jesus is like, "Why would I ever say that to you? You shouldn't throw a stone at a single human. No one should be unalive for any reason." This is what Jesus says when he comes in. So those
Really?
people that, yeah, in Numbers, at the end of Numbers,
That's weird because he chastises the Pharisees for not putting their disobedient children to death as per the law of Moses.
yeah, show me this passage, friend, because there's no way that
All right, I
this
will.
is, yeah. We'll need to dig in,
Yeah.
because I've yet to have anyone present me with Jesus saying unalive anyone.
Okay. Then he said to
It's
them, "You
always
have a fine way of rejecting the commandment of God in order to keep your tradition. For Moses said, 'Honor your mother, your father, and your mother. Whoever speaks evil of father or mother must surely unalive.' But you say that if anyone tells a father or mother, whatever support you might have from me is korban, that is, an offering to God. Then you no longer permit or do anything for a father or a mother, thus nullifying the word of God through the tradition that you have handed on. And you do many things like this." So he's chastising them for not putting their children to death.
no, no, no. I see it. I see it differently, of course. Obviously,
Of course.
yeah. So, but whenceforth, though, yeah, obviously, because you and I could
So
go.
Jesus's exact words here are, "Whoever speaks evil of father and mother must surely die."
Right, right. But whenceforth, though, because obviously I could go into a diatribe, and then after my diatribe, you'll have one, right? And then once the two diatribes have completed, I'll probably either be dropped or muted out of into oblivion. So whenceforth, though, I mean, obviously I have a specific purpose here on earth as a Christian, our true religion. I'm here to do my true religion. So I'm unaware what this misconception about the book has with my true religion. You know what I mean? Like I see the white knuckling of the book, but it has nothing to do with my true religion.
How about when Jesus says this? "But as for these enemies of mine who did not want me to rule over them, bring them here and slaughter them in my presence."
What's the passage? What's the
That's Luke
passage?
19.
Where is that from? Tell me where that's from.
That's Luke 19,
Luke 19, what, friend?
verse 27.
Okay. So again, what does that have to do with my purpose? Luke, well, let me
I
get
don't
it.
know.
Luke 19, because again,
This is just you saying Jesus doesn't like people dying when clearly he makes several references to people dying.
wait, did you say Luke 9 what?
Luke 19, verse 27.
Okay, Luke 19, verse 27. So imagine, if you will, the diatribe that I have in order to defend these tombs. But again, whenceforth, because I still have a true religion, it has nothing to do with that. The true
Has
religion.
nothing to do with the Bible.
It has nothing to do with you and I establishing these obliviations, establishing boundaries with obliviations and utterances. Can we fast forward to the true aspect of what it is that we're here for? Because
Can
obviously,
we discuss one of these topics that
the true religion stands contrary. I'm given a true religion by a God, and the nature of my true religion
an
is
evil God.
But why
An
would the
evil
God
God
give me
that
this true
unalives people
religion?
for picking up sticks and for not wanting people to rule over them. Jesus says, "Bring them here and slaughter them in my presence."
So I've spoken a number of times about our true religion. Do you know in the book of James what our true religion is? Did you study that when you were a Christian? What our true religion is?
How come Jesus don't tell you what a new religion is?
He does. He absolutely
Yeah.
does. The book of
Then
James.
why
He
would we
does.
go to James?
Why not? Why wouldn't you? If you could find the answer to everything in James, why wouldn't you?
Because we have some words from Jesus right here. It says, "But as for these enemies of mine who did not want me to rule over them, bring them here and slaughter them in my presence."
If those are the only words you're considering, then you will have a certain perspective. But I'm saying, have you considered our true religion? So there's
Yeah,
more
I was
words
one
to
for over
consider.
2 decades. I was a Christian for until I was nearly 30 years old.
Okay. So in the book of James, they speak about our true religion, which is visiting widows and orphans in their suffering. Do you see this? So how does that demonstrate an evil God when he's given me the task of visiting widows and orphans in their suffering? What is evil about
Oh,
this?
well, that's great. But if he says slaughter people who don't want me to do that, then I have a problem with it.
Yeah, he doesn't say that to me for 5 decades, and I'm still at the DV shelter, right?
Well,
So,
maybe you should read the book because he does say it in the book.
but if the book is going to lead me elsewhere other than my true religion, then why would I even pick up the book?
You
Right?
wouldn't. You're
Right.
just making up your own religion at that point.
Yes, you have none whatsoever. You set the book down. If you're picking up the book and you're focusing on those things, then that book needs to be set down, and you would need to go about casting out devils, like in Mark 9.
You're right.
They
You
were
need to throw it in the garbage. It's a garbage
right.
book from a garbage God.
So in Mark 9, there were those who were casting out devils and they weren't following Jesus. They weren't followers of Jesus. And the apostles
Well, it
got
sounds like
angry.
there's other ways to cast out demons. You don't
Exactly
even need Jesus.
right. Jesus said to his apostles, forbid them not. If they are casting out devils and not following me, don't stop them because he has a reward for them. There's a reward for the non-believer in Luke. If they're nice enough to give you a glass of water, knowing you bear the name Christ, they are going to have a reward. So here's the thing, man. If you and I are working at the shelter together for 5 decades, the book has no recompense to anything other than in 5 decades, we've helped hundreds of thousands of families. You know what I mean? That's the true religion. So if the
That's
book
great. Y'all took a bunch of families out too.
who the I this circumstance, we're waiting for them to re-show up.
Christians
We'll
only
send a
help
car.
Christians.
We'll send a
This is a
car.
divisionary religion. Like this religion was made to divide people.
I've not found that to be the case. I found it. I
Well,
found
that's what it
myself going
says. I
close.
know you don't care what the Bible says, but I mean, this is what I'm
That's what
using
it's
to.
right. I would
This
put it
is the
down if
book of the
it's
religion. I mean,
yes. I would say put it down if
yeah,
it's saying that to
that's what I
you.
did. I threw this in the garbage. I'm not a Christian
Good,
anymore. This is not a
good,
good religion.
good, good. I see. But
Yeah,
we still exist in the public square. We still share a reality with you. I'm still showing up to work at the DB
true.
shelter. So henceforth, again, oh, should we just diatribe until we cease? We should probably until all books are thrown into a pyre and we're resonating.
Yeah, especially this Bible. Yeah.
You know what I would throw? I'd be the first to throw it in.
I
Uh,
mean, I prefer your lovey-dovey religion to this act to the actual religion of Christianity. I mean, I prefer your sweet made-up version by far.
well, I did over a 16-week period in Sand Hill in Georgia at Basic. I taught a guy about Jesus, and the very last thing we did was throw his Bible in the fire because he was white knuckling it. I'm like, now you look for the Spirit. Don't look in that book. Grab it again if you
Hey, I
need it.
hear
But
you.
yeah, so
I
we
mean,
could
I'm
do it.
agreeing with you. The book sucks. The religion sucks. Throw it in the garbage and make up your own religion. That's what you need to do for real.
If it's necessary to keep you to give me a glass of water knowing I bear the name Christ, because imagine every public square you show up, I will be there to bearing the name Christ until the end of ages, until nothing is
Well, you're doing it in your own name, not in the name of Christ.
well, when I approach someone and saying I'm Christian, my name, in fact, I don't even have a name. My dad wrote his name on my birth
Hey,
certificate as a
Goth
special.
World, are you over 18 and a Christian?
Yeah. So I
Okay,
just want
cool.
to know, like, why do you guys why are you guys doing this?
Uh, because I'm trying to talk people out of, like, trying to show them that they're in a cult and they should leave it.
Is that the only cult on this planet?
Is it what?
Is that the only cult on this planet?
No, there's a bunch of them, but this is the biggest one and the most powerful one, and the one that I'm watching right now, trying to
And
bring back conquering and
which
slavery on
ones? All
America.
right, I could agree is the most powerful, but I'd say, which one's the most evil?
Christianity.
Are you sure?
I mean, I think so.
Are you in a cult?
No, I'm an atheist.
That's pretty much a cult, kind of. But everyone's kind of
How so?
individual selves.
How's atheism a cult?
Um, Anything that doesn't really like believe in God is kind of a cult.
How so?
It says it in the scripture, bro.
Oh, the book says it. The book also says the book also says to throw rocks at people till they unalive if they try to go to other gods, and it says to set women, if they're a priest daughter, on fire if they have sex. You do that?
I'm sure it says a lot of things.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. It also says that like God understands that we're just people, man.
He also says that let's see, right here in Jeremiah 19, he says to eat people.
Hey, dude, I'm just saying, why are you doing this, man? Why?
I just told
Like,
you.
what stirs you so? What vexes you so to stop people from trying to, like, go to heaven?
I
But
ain't
there
trying to stop anybody
is
from
there is
going to
actually
heaven.
a
I'm
hell
trying to
though
stop
too.
people from this dangerous ass doctrine and cult here.
Nah, it's not dangerous, bro. Because
It
literally,
is
it
dangerous. Look
teaches you just to
how
live
many
by
people
your,
have
just to
Christians
live.
wipe out, like set on fire, literally. Like even Thomas Jefferson said this. He says
They
millions of
usually
innocent
attack
men,
people
women,
that
and
are
children
attacking them.
since the induction of Christianity have been burnt, imprisoned, tortured, and fined. And what has
And what?
been the effect of this coercion? We have not
All right, all
advanced
right, all right,
one
all right. I
inch
agree.
toward
Okay, I
uniformity.
agree. Okay. What year was that?
Oh, what year was Thomas Jefferson alive?
Oh yeah, never mind. I didn't know you said Thomas Jefferson. But
Yeah, that
yeah,
was a
I
Thomas
guess I
Jefferson
agree.
quote.
But
Yeah,
what happened before that?
the same thing.
And I'm saying it's like, dude, how long do people think they're gonna be able to like, beat people up before they're like, all right, I don't want to be beat up anymore. So are you teaching like to not stand up for yourself? Is that the code of man?
I'm teaching people that this book is not true and it should not be followed because this God is evil. This book condones slavery. You're not
I'm just
okay with
saying,
that, are
bro.
you?
Like, I don't get why. I don't get you.
Are
But
you okay
every
with
to each
slavery?
his own. To each his
Are
own.
you okay with
Everyone does
slavery?
have their own person.
Are you okay with slavery?
No, my people definitely was in slavery, so I get it. Like it's like, all right,
Well,
so
this
this is
book's
how it is.
totally fine with it, and this book
Because
was used to justify slavery. So I really want people to not use this
wait,
book
all right,
anymore because I
so
don't like
show me
slavery.
one
Neither do
place,
you.
show me one place, or tell me one place that says that it's okay with slavery.
Leviticus
Or did
25, verse
it
44. As for the
depicted
male and
stories
females,
of there being slaves by people who have
Leviticus
conquered the earth
25,
already?
verse 44. As for the male and female slaves whom you may have, it is from the nations around you that you may acquire male and female slaves. You may
And
also
where's that?
acquire them from the aliens residing from with you, and from your
Where is
families
that?
who are with you have been born in your land. They may be your property. That's in
And what
Leviticus 25, verse 44 through 46.
and what did it say before that?
It says a bunch of other stuff before that. It talks about
That's
the year of Jubilee and the sabbatical year, and then it says you can own people's property.
I don't know. I'm baffled.
You are. How about Exodus 21? It says, if a man sells his daughter as a slave, she shall not go out as the male slaves do.
I feel like I feel like it depicted a story of a time already. All right, so Exodus, right? Yeah, because think about it. Exodus was made after the flood, and before the flood, the world was so corrupted, he had to wipe it away. Why did he have to wipe it away? Because the angels came down and corrupted man. So, if the world's already corrupted, I mean, I feel like it's
If the
depicted a
world's already
story of whatever
corrupted, just make it
happens.
worse. That's a great
Okay, so
answer, yeah.
okay, so yeah, that makes sense. That makes total sense.
The world's corrupted, unalive every single person. People come back. It didn't do squat worth of good. They're doing the exact same things. So the only reasonable answer here is to allow them to have slaves, including child sex slaves.
It also says do not participate in witchcraft.
Yeah, and it says if you do, to set them on fire.
Yeah, but
That's a great
like,
book. I mean,
so it's okay
you're in
to
a you're in a
do
great religion,
witchcraft?
buddy.
It's okay to do all that stuff. That's what you're saying? Like,
According to
I
God, it
mean,
is.
I guess
It's a
some
command from
people
God.
believe
Actually,
do
God
as
says
thou
you
wilt,
have to do it. You have to purge the evil from among you.
Not gonna lie, that's what it does kind of say. But that was like Old Testament though, not New Testament.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because
unfortunately, in
I
the Old
guess back
Testament,
then
God
it was
says
a
to keep these
different
laws
way.
all the days that you live on the earth. That's
Yeah,
what
all right,
Jesus says
so
too,
yeah, that's
actually.
that's the argument right there. Old Testament versus New Testament. You are reading from the Old Testament. I just
You want me to read
realized.
you from something from the New Testament then?
Yeah, yeah. Show me.
All right. It says, do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish,
To
but
bring a
to
sword, yes.
fulfill. For truly I tell you, until heaven and earth pass away, not one letter, not one stroke of a letter will pass from the law until all is accomplished. So even Jesus himself is saying in the New Testament, you have to keep all these laws until heaven and earth pass away. So you're in the same boat, whether you go to Jesus in the New Testament or the Old Testament. So.
Yeah, no, I think the first part of that was right, and then I think you changed the second half.
I didn't change anything. I just read it. I don't
Hey,
have to
dude,
change it. The book's shitty on its own. Like I don't have to change
it's not
anything in this
shady,
book.
bro.
It's
It's
bad
literally,
enough
listen.
itself. Like
Listen, I get where you were coming from, but it's like it's because you're only looking at like a small piece of the puzzle. The big puzzle is the world's already fucked. That's the big puzzle. You don't understand it, and you aren't strong enough to do anything. Not any one of us are strong enough to do anything. But we're just pawns, bro. So yeah, there's one side, but the other side is, bro, what's the alternative to this?
uh, not Christianity. It's great. You should try it.
And
Yeah,
I
here we
know
don't have
what
to
to.
defend grape and baby murder and slavery. Like we're actively
No,
against
no,
those
no, no,
things,
dude.
but the
I'm
book
not
is
defending
actively
that
for it.
because
So,
I'm actually black and we actually were in slavery recently. So I think I understand. But at the same time, bro, they were talking about shit that happened. It was like an accordance of what was already happening.
so they were
And
murdering
then
each
we
other
became
already. Why
slaves.
didn't God say that's okay? We'll just regulate
He didn't
murdering. He
say it
said
was
don't do
okay. I
that.
feel like, all right, so
He
most of
said
these
slavery's
books.
okay.
All right, so when you look at the Bible, they're in different books. So these books were made by the people who made that book. So like you can't be like, "Oh, this guy," it's like saying everything Shakespeare says uh is like, I mean, like everything Shakespeare says, you got to like take the account of Shakespeare, but it's not Shakespeare. It's it's whatever Shakespeare represents.
Does Shakespeare say I'm God and this is my word?
I know Shakespeare tried to change a
Give
little
a
bit
bunch
of
of
the
believers
Bible,
in a cult
and he
laws to
died
follow?
of the plague thereof. That's what it says. That's why I don't even want to really technically have this debate because, like, let me know, and I'm not trying to change the Bible at all because it literally says anyone who tampers with the Bible will die of the plague thereof. And then, lo and behold, Shakespeare. And tell me I'm wrong.
God, I don't even know what you're talking
That's
about.
what I'm saying, bro. Listen, dude.
Yeah,
I don't know why you're
hey,
doing
Austin,
this.
are you over 18 and you're a Christian?
Yeah, I'm 23.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks for coming up, Goth World person. That was got us nowhere. Uh, yeah. So, which one of these topics you want to talk about, Austin?
See, I don't know. So I'd probably agree on the part that there is more to it than what the religions try to debate it into. Because if you go back to the original book, the Jubilees, like that's before the Hebrew Bible, before any of that, it enlightens and pretty much explains more about the beginning of everything. And when Jesus did come, he wasn't for religion. Religion started after him. There was religions before him, but Christianity started after him. So my basis of everything is you just gotta believe the fundamentals. You don't gotta take everything that's in it. Just believe the fundamentals. Believe in the Father, the Son, and you know that's what it takes.
What if I think the Father's evil?
Well, the depiction of the Father is just through other men, correct?
Sure. So, why
Okay.
believe any of it?
Well, if you are supposed to depict something that you don't know what is, and you try to define it as close as to you, well, we're known by through sin, right? So we can only depict him as doing things that we have done, right? Because I mean, no one has visually seen him. In the book, it says God created everybody in His image, meaning man is created
There's
in
a
His
lot of
image.
people in the book that see God. Jacob says he saw him face to face and lived. Then Moses, Nadab, Aaron, and Abihu, and 70 of the elders all saw, behold, the God of Israel. So there was like 75 people at a time that saw him there.
Yeah, they didn't see God; they seen an angel. There was
They
an
saw
angel that
God. It
came
says
down.
they saw the God of Israel.
Okay, so Moses seen God on the mountain.
That's what it says. It says
That's
Moses
not what
talked to God face to
that's
face. face to face in a tent as if speaking to a friend.
That's not what Jubilee says. Jubilee says that there was a angel of perception that met Moses on the mountain.
Oh, well, if you're saying don't believe the Bible because the Bible's not true, then I agree with you.
Well, that's why I brought up the Jubilees. The Jubilees is taken out of the Bible. Why do you think it's taken out of the Bible?
They took a bunch of books out of the Bible.
Well, the books they took out of the Bible is because they are able to control the Bible without those books. With the books, it makes a timeline.
So what makes those books legit and the Bible not?
Because they're before the Bible. They're before the Hebrew scriptures.
How do you know that?
You can simply look it up.
All right, let's look it up. Let's look. So you're saying Jubilee was the first book, right?
Yes, Jubilees came out before Genesis.
Was the
It was saved by the Ethiopian Orthodox Church.
Yep, this says no. The Book of Jubilees was not written before Genesis. It was composed in the 2nd century BCE, long after the traditional composition of Genesis.
Okay.
Yikes.
All right. Well, if you read Jubilee, it in hyphens and describes more than what Genesis describes. It talks about the universe and heaven being built before Earth. And
so you sticking with your story there?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with my story.
Wow, you told me to look it up. Didn't just say you're wrong.
Because the Jubilees is made of just more than one scripture. So one scripture that could have been wrote way before the whole thing was put together was.
Well, it wasn't. This says it was written in the 2nd century BCE. This was
a
one
gather
of the newer
of all,
books in the Old Testament, actually.
A gather of all the Jubilees.
Okay. So you read the Book of Jubilee and not the Bible. What do we have to debate here?
I'm just saying that there's more to look at than what you're looking at through a book that was made to control people. The control is within that
unfortunately,
book.
Your credibility has just been shattered because you said this was the first book. Look it up, and I did. And this wasn't even close to the first book. In fact, it was one of the last ones.
It was one of the last ones?
Yeah. This was even after the book of Daniel, according to this.
Okay.
Daniel wasn't even written until like 164.
All right.
This is even newer than that. So this is like new by new standards in the Old Testament.
Okay, then look up now how sacred they used to keep the Jubilee until they don't keep it sacred anymore.
So when I looked that up and you're way wrong, what are you going to say then?
Hey, I'm not wrong on that one.
You're not?
I'm not.
Why should I believe you?
You don't have to.
Why would I? I mean, so far you're 0-1 on being right.
The Israelites kept the Jubilee as one of the sacred books until.
Okay, so what? What's in the book that's so important to this?
Because it gives a fundamental timeline of the beginning, unlike Genesis that hops from one point of time to 13 different points and all one sum.
Okay.
So when you're able to use things in a chronological timeline, you're able to understand history more. Well, if everything's broken out of a chronological timeline, you're able to put more things into it to make it more mythical and creative than you are able to make a understanding of what really happened. Because in Genesis, it just describes. You think in this book?
So you think in this book was 600 or 700 years older than it actually was, and then being proven to the contrary doesn't affect your thinking at all?
The book was removed for a reason. That's all I have to leave my basis of thinking for.
Well, it was removed because it wasn't an actual part of canon. It wasn't even composed until the 2nd century BC.
The Catholic Church was created when?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Way before. It was way after this.
It was, right. Well, all those books were kept sacred and everybody used them until after the Catholic Church and the other religions were made. And
are you Catholic?
I'm not Catholic.
Oh, then why do you care what they did?
Because they control the Christian views.
Even for people who aren't Catholic?
Uh,
You don't, you could just not adhere to Catholic doctrine if you're not Catholic. That's
you're
all
right.
you got to do.
But Christianity branched off Catholicism.
Maybe.
It did. I mean,
Mhm.
you gotta
Well,
do some
it doesn't
history,
sound
man.
like we have much to debate.
Well, I didn't come to debate. I just kind of came to talk about some stuff that I don't think you have a full understanding of.
Yeah, I don't
You're
have a full
talking about
understanding, and
you're
clearly
talking
you
about a
don't either
book.
because
No, I
you're
do.
wrong.
I'm not
No, you
wrong.
don't.
You're not listening
You
to
are
what I'm saying.
wrong, and you told me to look it up. I looked it up, and it was
Okay.
the exact opposite of what you said. It's one of
You're
the
telling me I'm
newest
wrong,
books
but
in the
I'm
canon. You
telling
said it
you
was the
I'm
oldest.
agreeing that the book you're saying has been put a lot of lies in to control people and mislead them. That's what you're going on about. You're saying it's an evil book and this and that. Well, the reason it's evil is because man have had their hands in it to dictate and control the masses of who they control.
Right. So I say drop it all. None of it's trustworthy. But you're saying this book that the Catholics took out that I thought was from this time period, but it clearly wasn't. It's the right one. So I mean, I still don't see any credibility
You understand
in
what I
it
was
at
trying to
all.
say a second ago? The Jubilee is the true way. It's the true order of law.
Huh? All right. Well, you have fun with that, I guess.
All right. You can do more research if you want. Have fun.
Sure. I'll do that. Yeah. Thanks anyway, though. Appreciate you. Well, um, for the day of the Lord is near. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Day 100 going down. Day 100 going down. It's amazing how people say things and then you prove them wrong and they just like persist in the same thing they was just saying. Like didn't affect them at all. A little bit. Oh shit! Here's our boy Marcus back here. That's cool.
Hey man,
Marcus, how's
what's up?
dog?
Hey, I know yesterday we were having a conversation and then I got disconnected.
Oh yeah. Well, what's up, man? What you
Yeah.
continue with today?
What happened?
I said, what you want to talk about today?
Okay. I still would like to why worship an evil God? I guess we could do that one.
Yeah. So why do you worship an evil god?
Oh man. Why do I worship an evil God?
Yeah. What you do all that for?
That's because I like coming on here and then you just bring up all these different arguments and then like I'm constantly having to go to my Bible app and read for myself and try to give you an answer and stuff, so like I don't know, I like it. It challenges me, and I like
That's cool.
challenges. Yeah, so I mean, I can't say God is evil because throughout the whole Bible, that God does have characteristics, and those characteristics are simply balance. Like it's nowhere near evil. It's like for God to come down on earth, it would completely obliterate us because we're so impure compared to him, like how pure he is, so
That's
God
weird.
is,
Jacob
yeah,
wrestled with God, and he said he saw God face to face and lived.
yeah, he wrestled
And he
with,
beat him in a wrestling match until God cheated and like punched him in the dick or whatever he did.
who the angel of the Lord is, who he would come down and represent as God.
Is it the one that was going to destroy Jerusalem?
That
Oh,
angel
okay.
and the Lord, I guess you could say, quote unquote, because you have to remember, right, when he was with I think it was Moses or Noah, right? They asked he asked for God to show him his face, and God said, "You cannot see my face because if you see me, you will die." So he told him, like, cover your eyes while I pass by, and then just you could look at my back only. You know, because of how pure and like he was not understanding. Yeah, you can
All
never
right, so
understand
Exodus
God.
24 says, Then Moses, Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel went up, and they saw the God of Israel.
You said Moses and who else?
Moses, Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of
Nebuchadnezzar,
Israel went up, and they, no, Nabdab.
Nabdab.
Nabdab, yeah. They have weird names, I can't help it. Well, some of them sounds weird, other ones sound badass, but Nabdab sounds kind of weird.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, it
But
says they saw the God of Israel. It says, and then they had a banquet with him, and they beheld the God of Israel. So they
but
all saw God, like 74 people.
do you know that sometimes in the Bible, throughout the whole Bible, you would have angels who would come and represent as God, who speak for God, and all those kind of things, right? So
Does the book call them
sometimes
the God of Israel?
the angel of the Lord, you could say, is also considered the God of Israel. Israel.
So are angels God?
No, but the angel of the Lord,
So they're not considered the God of Israel then.
angels are not God, but you have the angel of the Lord who, you know, who would be considered Christ, I guess, depending on certain. Before you look at me like that, depending on certain branches or theologians, they would consider him as the angel of the Lord. So some people disagree, some people agree. Me personally, I agree that the angel of the Lord is quote unquote Christ, who is also God.
So you do think an angel is God?
No, the angel of the Lord. You have the angels, but then you also have the angel of the Lord, but then he's not just considered the angel of the Lord as well. You know, he has also different name. I forgot one of the names that he had, but he has different names throughout the Bible. Hold on.
Every time she eats cereal, she always do that with the cereal being soggy. And then when I throw it away. No, but it's okay to get a second.
You sound like you're in a cafeteria, man.
Yeah, I'm living with a whole bunch of people that like to make noise constantly 24/7, but I'm moving out next week, so I'm just I'm just
Good for
living
you.
through it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like noisy people, so yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah. It sucks for me.
Yeah,
But
could be worse.
yeah, it could be worse. It could be worse. But this I would consider quiet, considered to like all those other days, like yeah, it sounds like they want to fight, yeah. But
I got
yeah.
you. So do you think murdering babies is evil?
Do I think murdering babies? We had this conversation last time. I do think murdering babies is evil.
So when God murders a baby, that's clearly evil then, isn't it?
Depending on my answer, you're either gonna hate it or you're gonna love it.
Well, I mean, if you're saying God's not evil, but he's doing evil things, then it just sounds like a contradiction.
Like this sort of conversation. I want to give an answer, but I feel like you're going to hate my answer. Because if I tell you that God taking a life is not called murder or is not treated as evil, because due to the fact that he's the giver of life, you would not like that answer. Now, if I do say yes, it's evil, and then but I would say no, it's not considered evil, and it's not considered murdered or treated as evil because he's the giver of life. He's the one that gives life. In the beginning, he was the one that gave life to Adam and Eve. He's the creator. So when he takes life and he could take life and give it back. I mean, he is God.
So since God
If
gave
I'm
this
a
baby life, it wasn't murder to make it sick for a week and then unalive it.
I'm sorry, what?
On the floor.
I said, so since God gave the baby life, then it was not considered murder, in your opinion, that he made it
Well,
sick for a week and then unalived it.
well, and it's not just in my opinion, it's many other people's opinion. Even a lot of theologians would say that it's not considered murder. Like if you go to Job 1 verse 21, the Lord gives and he takes away, so no, it's not
Well, that doesn't
considered.
make it not what it is, though.
Yeah.
That just means might makes right.
I'm sorry, what?
That's a might makes right argument, not an
No,
actual justification.
no. At
So
times when
murder
God,
is unlawful or unjustified killing.
at times when
So if you
God
can't
takes
justify
away.
this, it's definitely murder.
Okay, so we sometimes we do not have a reason as to why God will take away a life. It's the
That's why
same.
it's murder.
It's the same thing as today. Sometimes people don't end up waking up. We don't know why. Sometimes they
We
just
do
end
know
up
why.
dying.
God tell it. The book tells us why he's doing this.
I mean, yes, but I'm saying like in our generation, like today, sometimes we don't end up knowing why somebody died. A member in our family could end up dying and we end up feeling bad about it. We don't know why their lives are being taken away, but in the Bible, sometimes killing or when God takes away a life, it could be considered as judgment. It's not always random doing or something like that.
So is this judgment on the baby?
The baby, I cannot
I
speak
mean,
for
judgment, if God's judging people for their crimes, then there would be a justification for it because they committed a crime. But this is a baby. This baby didn't do anything. And in fact, it specifically says that this baby is receiving the punishment for what David did. So, I mean, this baby isn't guilty of anything besides being born.
Okay. Yeah, so when King David did sin, of course, his infant son did end up dying because of his sin. If I remember correctly, he killed. Sorry, I forgot. You don't want to hear that one. He unalived one of his soldiers, like his best man, so that he could, do his thing with his wife.
Yeah, so he could rape his wife. Yeah.
Yeah, and then later on, God slowly let the baby become sick and ended up, so the
So I
judgment
mean, yeah,
was
just on face value, this seems like David is the murderer and rapist here. Like maybe take the rapist murderer out, not the innocent baby. Would be
well
my personal,
in the Bible.
observation
David
here.
still had God still had plans for David. The baby, sometimes God does it, to stop violent and corrupt systems.
Yeah, pervert warlords who are murdering rapists seem to be God's favored people for some reason. And if you're like an actual upright and blameless person, he still like tortures you like he did Job.
Okay, so think of it like this, right? We have a corrupt system. When we have a corrupt system, innocent people suffer, but the
Yeah, but
the
God is
the
making them suffer.
no, the
Yeah.
innocent people end up suffering because of evil system, not because of God or the children. It is because of David's action that the baby suffers. So it's showing us that, okay, evil, because of the evil in this world, a lot of these bad things end up happening. So that's
These
why
bad things happen
Jesus
because the
Christ
God
said,
of this book made them happen that way,
that's
not
why we
because of
have
the system.
that's why we had Christ, and Christ had said, let the little children come to me, for they belong in the kingdom of heaven. So you could tell that, okay, if that child ended up dying, they go straight to heaven because they didn't know any wrong. They didn't do any wrong. They were
Yeah, but
completely innocent.
so the baby didn't do any wrong, completely innocent, suffered for a week and died. That's called murder.
No, that is not
Yeah.
called murder or
Absolutely it is. The
or
baby, you
anything like
just
that.
said this baby is innocent. It didn't
With
do anything
with
wrong.
again, this is a God we're talking about here, not a
I
human
know,
being.
but it's
Exactly.
still
So
murdering babies.
no, if I do it, that's what it is. If you do it,
Oh.
that's what it is.
Well, what's something
If
God could possibly do in your mind that would qualify him as an evil murderer?
what can God? Nothing. Again, if He's giving
Exactly.
me,
So you're not even capable of calling this God out for doing evil
no,
or
I
murder.
cannot
You
call
said
God
everything God
evil.
does is perfect. Yeah.
I cannot call God
So
evil
you would
because
literally
He had
have
to.
to stand there and watch this God bash babies' brains out and grape women, and you would be like, "Oh, this is God being loving."
No, God. But here's the thing, though. See what you're doing is that you're putting God in a human perspective. God doesn't do all those things.
Yeah, I
So
wish you would join me.
wait, me?
We're made in His image, aren't we?
No, yeah, I mean, yes, we are, but why would I do those things? And
According to the
that's
book, this is apparently love and mercy.
no,
So why wouldn't you do it?
and that's the thing. This is why people were getting punished back then, because due to the fact that you're made in His image, you're
So
not
you're
supposed to
saying
do.
don't do what God does, right?
Don't take a life because you can't give life. You're not the giver of life. You're not the one that's giving the soul or anything like that. You're human. If now the difference is, if somebody comes in your house and tries to take your life away or your family's life away, you have the right to take their life away. That is
So
not
what if
called
God came
murder.
in my house and took my family's life away? What would I think then?
He is the giver of life. He's the one that gave them that life.
Yeah, but He took all the life.
Yes, because again,
The giver of life is the taker of life. So why does
yes,
He get credit for being a life giver but not a life taker?
that's what I said. Even the Bible says it. He gives and He takes because He
Oh,
is
okay.
God.
Yeah. He gives life and then He murders life. That's God. Yeah.
Because He's God. He has the powers to do that. If
I
He
know it's
decides
divine
to,
command theory, yeah.
if He
You're
decides
saying
to,
if God does it, it's great no matter what. No matter how many babies get their brains bashed out. That's the love of God, yeah.
again, and it's the same thing that's gonna happen in the end time, where everybody's gonna get judged for their evil. It is because
God's
He
going
is
to come back
God.
and love everybody.
No, He's gonna judge the world. Because He's God.
What's it going to judge us based on? Whether we kept slaves and kept His law?
Yeah, sorry, man, but I can't really fit your standards when it comes to God. I can't really do that.
I know. You're kind of
Everybody,
put in that position where you have to say God bashing these babies' brains out was actually love. And like, it's one of my big problems with this religion, actually,
the thing is, you're
is
saying
that
God is
believers
not
would
God.
literally stand there and watch this God bash a bunch of babies' brains out and say, "Oh, what love God has for us." That is beyond sick and twisted, in my opinion.
I think you're getting the scriptures wrong. Maybe we should invite your theologian friend here again.
Did that go well for you last time?
Yeah, it went well.
It did.
Yeah.
You remember how you ended the conversation yesterday?
I mean, I told you yesterday I got disconnected, and plus, like, at that
Yesterday,
moment,
you said you've been embarrassed twice.
no, due to the fact that our arguments I was not able to defend correctly.
Oh,
And
okay. So
in this time.
did you figure it out? Can you defend it correctly now?
I think because regardless of what I say, you're not going to listen. Your opinion is still gonna be the same.
Well, it's
There's
because
no.
you're not actually defending what you think you're defending. You're just saying it's not murder because God did it, but I can't accept that. I'm saying a baby made sick and unalived because of what? Because a dude murdered and raped a woman.
Okay.
This is not. This
Yeah.
sounds disgusting to me. This isn't like a loving, merciful argument I'm defending here.
Okay. Do you remember Psalms 137?
Psalms 137.
Yeah.
I don't remember it off the top of my head. I can look it up though.
You should read
What about it?
you should read Psalm 137. It's written
Does
by
Psalm
an Israelite.
137 say this baby didn't actually get its brains bashed out?
No, it's just a psalm, basically, someone talking to God, about their cities and families and children's, just being destroyed and being going into slavery. And remember that we had a conversation about slavery yesterday too. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Psalm 137, it is somebody who's talking to God, about all these things, so, and, it says, blessed is the one who takes your little ones and dashes them against the rock. So this is now, before you look at it and say like, oh my goodness, God is saying like, oh, this person is blessed for bashing babies' brains out. No, it is basically expressing raw human anger. This is the person that is talking, you know, may you experience. So it's,
That's in Babylon, man.
yeah. So it's basically, they're basically
Yeah, God
telling,
commanded that to happen.
no.
Yeah.
If you read Psalms, if you read Psalms 137, right, it is someone who is deeply expressing their emotions to God about what is happening. You have people just murdering babies and stuff like that. Psalm 137, verse 3, right? For there, this right here is talking about um, slavery. For there those who carried us away captive ask us a song, and those who plundered us request mirth, saying, sing us one song of the song Zion. How shall we sing the Lord's in a foreign land, if I forget you, O Jerusalem? So this person is talking to God right there about all these things that are happening. And if you continue reading, it talks about, their cities being destroyed. O daughter of Babylon, who are you to be destroyed? Happy the one who repay you as you have served us. Happy the one who takes and dashes your little ones against the rock. So, and then you continue. This is all telling us like, okay, the same should happen to you, right? And then you continue reading, the Lord goodness to the faithful. And then it just continues to talk about praising him and stuff like that. But you could would be not bring anywhere. I'm not racist because you are black. What? Anyways, yeah, so the whole Psalm 137 is just explaining about all these type of things. He's feeling grief and bad
Yeah, and you
about.
realize there's an actual proclamation against Babylon that God makes, right? And he tells them to bash these babies to pieces and grape the women.
I remember you brought this up, and I was trying to tell you that this is a
Do you
prophecy.
remember that?
Yes, and I was telling you how it was a prophecy that was happening. And
Do you remember me agreeing it was a prophecy?
huh?
Do you remember me agreeing it was a prophecy?
You did say it was a prophecy, but your argument was
It's a
still.
proclamation against Babylon that's also a prophecy. And in this proclamation, God says, I myself have commanded my consecrated ones. So God is commanding these things to happen in this chapter. And it says, their infants will be dashed to pieces before their eyes, their houses will be plundered, and their wives will be raped. So God is commanding grape and baby bashing.
Okay, so I'm guessing you're talking about Isaiah 13, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the same thing. It's the that's what our psalm is talking about.
Do you know?
Babylon babies.
Do you know anything about Babylon?
Yeah.
Like what? What do you know about Babylon?
What do you want me to know about Babylon? What's important?
Tell me everything that you know about Babylon, because I don't think you know much.
What does what I know about Babylon have to do with this?
So Babylon in that time, if you continue to read the Bible, they did a lot of mass slaughter. They enslaved many nations, and they did a lot of extreme cruelty, and yes, even killing children. They did all of that. So they done these things to each other as well. So the prophecy is describing them. So it's describing what happens when Babylon is conquered in wars. So the same thing that they are doing, they it was done to them. So yes, it is a descriptive, but it's not God commending that cruelty. So
It literally
it's God
says he
telling
commands it.
them. It's God telling them that the violence that they're doing is going to come back to them. The same patterns that happens throughout
Okay,
all
where does
history.
it say that?
That's the interpretation.
From what? What are you interpreting?
Okay, the Isaiah 13, where the
Really, because
part
I
where it's
interpret that
talking
as
about,
what it says, a proclamation against Babylon where God commands their utter destruction.
because you're reading into what's the word? I
The
forgot
words?
the. No, I'm saying you're reading into, but I forgot the word for it. But he's not commending evil. He's just predicting and
This isn't a
showing
prediction, it's a
us.
proclamation. It's literally God. It's calling this the day of the Lord. The day of
Yes,
the
you
Lord
could
is
read the
coming with
word.
wrath and cruel and
You
fierce
could read
anger,
the.
with indignation from his commanded and mustered army that he musters and gathers himself. Anyway, the theologian is back. He wants to talk to you, I suspect.
Yeah, that's nice.
Hey, hey, Marcus, good to talk to you
Hey,
again, man.
how's it going?
Um, I'm curious because I hear you, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you're reading Isaiah 13 and you're saying like, I don't know, maybe from like more of a Calvinistic perspective, like God is sovereignly over this, but it's there's also this permissive will. Like I get it, but I think maybe a way to frame this that would I don't know, maybe make you think about that differently. When the text says things like, I think it's actually in the following chapter, God is promising to do good things for Israel, right? He's going to bring them back into the land. Is that just a prediction?
Um.
Or would you attribute that to God? Would you say, look, God is going to use Cyrus to bring them back into the land? Look what God is doing for them. Or would you say, yeah, God's just predicting that, but Cyrus is actually the one that's doing it, so he's actually the one responsible for it? And the reason that I say that, before you just maybe just think about it for a second,
Mhm.
a thinker points this out all the time. We're very quick as humans. I was an evangelical for 26 years. I
Yeah.
did all this stuff too, right? We're very, very quick to attribute anything good that happens to the God, right?
Mhm.
But when he says that he's going to do something bad, because that doesn't that doesn't fit with our modern interpretation of what a God does or who a God is, we tend to create a level of separation. And so we say, well, God's not like responsible. Yeah, he was responsible for all the good stuff, but he's not responsible for the bad stuff, even though the media are the same in
But
between them.
if you look at that time, okay, so in that time, you had all the different people who were worshiping other gods, and of course, Israel had our God, well, my God, you could call it now. So, I mean, I think it makes sense that, okay, everyone is fighting a war, everyone's going through something. Okay, God's people, own people, are doing these sort of things to each other. And now he's telling them, okay, like this nation is coming after you and will do the same thing to you. I mean, I don't know.
Well, this isn't even an interpretation, man. This is literally God is saying, I am making these things happen. I am commanding this. I am doing this. This is the day of the Lord. I will bring about all the destruction that I have pronounced against you. Like, God is literally taking responsibility for all this stuff in writing, in the words. It's not an interpretation to say God is making this happen. It literally says that.
I mean,
And
I wouldn't say, and yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Josh.
no. Go ahead. You started before I did.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say that it's, interpretation, but of course, okay, he is God, so of course he could see the future of what is to be, so I could say that this is him telling them like, okay, this is going to happen because of this and that, if that
Does he
makes
say
sense.
it's going to happen because of this and that, or does he say it's going to happen because he's commanding it to happen?
I,
Commending.
Marcus, if I could
Hmm.
steelman your position,
Yeah.
I think the way that, if I'm understanding what you're saying, is that like in a sense, because God is in control of everything and nothing happens outside of His purview or whatever, that He is in that sense. Hey, buddy, stop. Yes, pal. Yes. Sorry, guys. He wants some of his Valentine's Day candy.
Ooh, I want some too.
Yeah, me too. Um, and so like in that sense, God is in control because he's in control of everything, but he is like in a practical way, as part of the orchestration of the events, he's allowing an evil nation to do X, even though he's not making them do it. He knows that they will do it through his divine knowledge, and so he's, as part of his like, conducting of the universe, he's allowing that to take place as part of his overall plan. Is that like a fair representation of what you're saying?
Yes, because if you go back to the New Testament, right, and you read about the conversation that Jesus and the Pharisees were having, Jesus said to them, God allowed these things because of the wickedness in their heart. So in that time, God, of course, he brought out certain laws just so that, you could say that he's trying to control, making sure that there's less evil at that time, but of course it doesn't work out, because one, he cannot take away your free will because he gave it to you. He's not going to allow himself to break a law that he made. Once God makes a law, he's not going to break it, but
Yeah.
due to the fact that he still has a certain plan, like he has certain plan, of course he's going to work away around that free will. While he's not breaking it, he's going to work around it and make that path, which was again Christ's sacrifice.
And I hear you. And what, just so so that we're fair, like this is what you're saying is a very standard, like it's a very standard view. So it's not like out of left field or something. I think that the interpretive problem that you're going to run into, though, I think we can, like, I could probably demo or highlight it here. If I don't know if you're familiar with Leviticus 26 or Deuteronomy 28, it's not like a no shade if you don't, like they're sort of random chapters. So, but they're two texts that sort of lay out the future history from the perspective of the narrative, the future history of what Israel's going to go through, uh, as it's God saying, if you follow my commands, if you follow this Mosaic law.
It's Leviticus 6, right?
26.
26.
Yeah.
Oh, this is where he starts giving out all these laws and commands on how to do sacrifices and all these.
It's after that. It's
Yeah,
like almost at
the
the end of the book,
the
and basically what he's.
promises that
Yeah, that's
yeah.
right. So he's saying, okay, look, I've given you all these commands, I've given you all these laws. Now, if you obey me, here's all the good stuff that I'm going to do for you. If you disobey me, if you don't obey these commands, then here's all the bad stuff that I'm going to do. And I think that this chapter, and sorry, those are my 4-year-old twins. This chapter, I think, it may be problematic for you in the respect that from this interpretive standpoint, because I think what you're going to end up having to say is, yes, God does these things, like he's doing them, he's responsible, we should credit him for doing these things, but we shouldn't credit him for these other things. And I think methodologically it's going to be very difficult for you to distinguish why. And I'll point a couple real quick. So if you look at verse 3 where these things start, if you will, sorry, everybody, this is I think this is just King James. But if you walk in my statutes and keep my commandments and do them, then I will give you rain in due season, and the land shall yield her increase, and the trees of the field shall yield their fruit. Just that much. Is that God doing that, or is God allowing that to happen?
Allowing that. I mean, he's commending it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. God's doing that, right? He's looking at their actions and he's saying, okay, you done good. Here's a bunch of rain, right? Here's a bunch of, everything's going to grow. It's you're good to go because you did well, right? I don't know that we could give agency to the weather in the same way that we would give agency to Cyrus or something.
No.
Okay. And your threshings shall reach unto the vintage, and the vintage shall reach unto the sowing time. I mean, sorry, that's all very old, but it's the crops are going to do super duper well. You'll eat your bread to the full. You'll dwell in your land safely. I will give you peace in the land. You shall lie down. None shall make you afraid. I will rid evil beasts out of the land. Ridding evil beasts. Do you? I mean, I think we don't have to go through this one by one, but I think you see what I'm saying is that I don't think God's looking at the bears and saying, okay, they have agency. They're really angry at the people, so they're going to go eat them or something. I don't think that's what's happening.
They
Sorry,
use their free will too.
I'm being kind of being funny, but yeah. But
Well,
so go ahead.
Go ahead. No. Go ahead.
I was just going to say sorry, and I'll be quick. But down in verse 14, you have a much longer section, right? It says, if you don't hearken unto me, don't do all these commands, you despise my statutes, verse 15, but I will do this unto you. I'll appoint over you terror, consumption. Sorry, this is really old language here. I'll set my face against you, verse 17. You'll be slain before your enemies. They that hate you shall reign over you, shall flee when none perishes, or when none pursues you. But look at verse 19. I think those you could be okay, maybe that's God allowing it. But look at verse 19. I'll break the pride of your power. I will make your heaven as iron and your earth as brass. Your strength shall be spent in vain. Your land shall not yield her increase, neither shall the trees of the land yield their fruit. This is just the opposite, right, of what we agreed, again, reasonably so, in the first part, that God's not allowing the rain to fall and the trees to grow and whatever. He's causing that because they did well. Here, the opposite is the case. He's saying you didn't do well, you disobeyed, so I'm not going to cause it to rain. I'm not going to let the trees grow. And I think, and this is where I will land and shut up. Thank you for being very patient with me, Marcus, and Jesse as well. I think this is, from a methodological standpoint, it's going to be very difficult to determine a symmetry breaker between what God is doing in the first part, then in the blessings, and what God is doing in the second part, and to say in one, he's actually doing it and should be credited with it. But in the second ones, he's not actually doing it. He's just allowing it. Does that make sense?
Yes. Okay. So throughout the whole Leviticus, it's more of you do good. Obedience. If you obey, you get peace, safety, and life. If you do persistent evil, it's okay. You get consequences for it. So I don't know if you know Isaiah 13, 11. If I remember correctly, it was more he will punish the wicked, something like that. um, so throughout the whole Bible, it's God giving out these laws and then punishing people for breaking these laws that they are breaking. So, and God is someone with patience, so he gives you those warnings. He patiently waits, and you continuously do these evil, and even throughout, sometimes God will send a prophet to warn these people, like, hey, you guys need to stop before this and that happens, right? But of
Yeah,
course the
baby,
people,
stop it.
yeah, of course the people don't listen, and the punishment ends up coming. It's not because that God is cruel, but it's because of like the evil and wickedness that these people are doing
The
that
babies did, yeah.
that causes God to just act, in that time. You know, um, God doesn't condone, he doesn't condone like harming innocents, like in Jeremiah,
Except the babies, yeah.
I guess, except the babies, but
Yeah,
do
I thought I
not
heard you
shed
say
innocent,
Jeremiah. What a coincidence. I got a
do
verse
not, sh-
pulled up from Jeremiah that's talking about Babylon specifically. And it says,
do,
this whole land shall become a ruin and a waste, and these nations shall serve the king of Babylon for 70 years. Then after the 70 years are completed, I will punish the king of Babylon and that nation, the land of the Chaldeans, for their iniquities, says the Lord, making that land an everlasting waste. I will bring upon that land all the words that I have uttered against it, and everything written in this book that Jeremiah prophesied against the nations. So, like, God is literally saying He's making all that stuff happen.
I
But
mean,
if
again,
now you're just saying He's just punishing mean people, then you also have to contend with the fact that He's punishing babies.
okay, look, throughout the Old Testament, right? Throughout the Old Testament, it is just people continuously sinning, just doing evil. There's so much evil in that world. Even after the flood, people still continue to do evil after Moses. Our hearts was horrible, and even though God was with them, it's specifically Israel, God was with them and was walking amongst them, did a lot of miracles, walked with them through the desert and everything. And I think it was for like 47 days and stuff, or 47 nights. I don't remember, but he was with them even after um, Pharaoh and all of that. And people still continue to do evil. They still continue to do all these bad
Right.
things.
So, I mean, He had
And
to bash these
God
babies to
created
pieces, right?
these laws. God created laws to
He
just
created laws for Babylon.
lower down. No, the laws in general for Israel.
Then what does He put? How is He punishing Babylon for breaking laws that Babylon wasn't under?
God still have morals and laws, universal.
Oh,
You
so they were
know,
bound to this law.
murdering is a universal law. No one should be doing
Except
it.
when God does it, right?
He's a giver of life.
You don't say the double standard you're applying here to this God in every way.
Dude, because the thing is, what you're doing is you're putting God in a human standard. Again, he's
Exactly,
God.
yeah. Just like Abraham did.
He's God. I don't know
Yeah,
what
but
you want me to tell
humans
you.
can hold God to a standard of justice, just like Abraham does in Genesis chapter 18. It says, certainly you, the ruler of all the universe, will do what is just and right. And God says, yeah, of course I will. So
Because
we can hold God to a standard of human justice.
because that is his standard. Being good and just
If
is his
that's the
standard.
standard, then He's violating it constantly.
No, because
Yes. He uses Babylon to punish the Israelites for not keeping His law, and then He punishes Babylon for having been used to punish the Israelites. This is not good. This is a psychotic God. I mean, man, come on. You're defending God bashing babies to pieces by saying, hey, it's just God doing what God does. Just God being God. God made the babies. He can bash their brains out if he wants to. That might sound like a great argument to you, but it sounds
That's
absolutely disgusting to me.
that's literally not what I'm saying,
That's literally what you did say.
bro.
You said God makes life, he can take it away.
I,
That's
I
how you defended God bashing these babies to pieces.
for Babylon, I was constantly telling you that the evil things that Babylon was doing.
What did the babies do?
I'm not saying the babies did anything.
Exactly. They were innocent. You've already said that. You said they were innocent. They can't do anything. But yet they are having their brains bashed out. But that's just God being God, right?
No.
So he punishes babies because men did mean things?
Again, I am not saying he's punishing babies. These people were already doing these horrible things to these babies. I already told you it was
What about David's baby?
David's baby was due to David, to what David did, the evilness that David did.
Exactly, but the baby didn't do anything. You even said this baby was completely innocent, yet the baby is the one being punished for what David did and not David. The Lord explicitly says he's putting David's sin away, but this baby is going to die.
Okay. Again, you're right. That's in Ezekiel, the son will not bear the guilt of his father. So babies are not blamed for the wrongs that humans do. You're right on that part. You know, and then yes, like David did, he sinned and God took judgment. But it was not the guilt of the child. It was not the child. And even David said that, okay, he's going to see the child again when he lies in peace, meaning that when he dies, he's going to see the baby again. And we all know where babies go, in heaven.
This doesn't say he'll see him again. It says he shall go to him, but he will not return to me.
Yeah, because he's alive. David is currently alive. The baby is not alive. How can the baby is not going to return to him?
Yeah, I know. The baby is dead. God punishes the baby for what God did. So if God is loving and just, why is he killing babies instead of the people that are guilty of the crime?
Oh man, it's like art talking to you guys. I don't know. I try to explain something, it doesn't go through. It's just.
That's because you're not actually explaining it.
Dude, I am explaining. I'm telling you that because of the evil of the world, it affects the innocence.
So the God of justice, the all-just
showing
God,
us that
is punishing
the evil,
babies because the dude did the sin, but he's not punishing the dude. That's not justice. It's the opposite of justice. It's injustice, and it's evil.
When evil becomes a system in society, it brings out war, famine, and violence, and it affects everyone, right? Not because everyone is guilty, but it's because sin. I don't know. Do you not remember when God says, if you eat of this fruit, you will surely die? And they ate the fruit.
I remember him saying,
evil.
in the day you eat of this fruit, you will surely die. And they did not die the day that they ate.
They
of that
did
fruit.
die. They
No,
did.
didn't. They lived like 900 more years.
Bro, when you see, that's the thing. When you hear dying, you're thinking about, oh, rest in peace. No, that's not what it's saying. It's saying dying means being separated from God. They were separated from God. That
So
the moment they
Adam and Eve
ate
went
of
to
the
hell.
fruit, they became separated with God. That's what you're not understanding. That's why there's so much evil in the world, because we are separated. We're apart from God. That's literally what dying means.
I can only hope I'm separated from this God because I don't like baby murdering gods.
I mean, dude, it's your choice again. That's why free will exists. You
It
hear
is
me?
my choice, and I'll take the choice where I don't worship baby murdering gods
Again, bro,
all day and
when the
proudly.
Bible says they died, it was talking about a spiritual death, not a physical one. They ended up dying spiritually. They were apart from God, and then sin came into the world because of the
Where does it ever say
disobedience.
you're going to die a spiritual death?
It's not saying it's the same thing as the word Bible. The word Bible is not in the Bible, but it's a word that we use, but it's not in the Bible. It's the same thing as Trinity. Trinity is not a word in the Bible, but it's a word that's used to explain the Trinity.
It's almost like people are just making stuff up about the Bible, but it's not actually in there.
Bro, because you guys, when you read the Bible, you're not reading to understand. You know, you guys, none of you are reading
No, I
to
am
understand.
reading to understand.
No,
I actually
you're
care
reading
about
to
the context.
understand.
Christians don't. That's why you read what you want to read. See, I read that when God bashes a baby's brains out, I'm seeing a baby getting murdered for somebody else's sin. What Christians see is love and justice and mercy, somehow or another. And to me, that is utterly and completely twisted.
Look, man, again, sin equals death. Okay, that's it. This is the consequences of sin that is in the world.
According to Christians, not according to God or the Old Testament.
According
If you sin
to
in the Old Testament, there's a penalty. Like you can pay a fine in some cases. The penalty is not always this. Sometimes it is.
like, I just feel like you guys just pick certain verses to go with your arguments. Right?
All the baby bashing verses, yeah, we pick those. There's a whole bunch of them. You know, we pick the verses that God is literally saying, I am going to make all this shit happen. Like, that seems like a pretty good one if you're trying to make the point that God is commanding these atrocities to happen. The part where it says God is commanding, it's a pretty good part to read, I would think.
I'm not justifying evil. Again, you guys are not understanding that God is the giver of life. He takes and he gives, right?
This is the same
When we do
argument
evil,
I was saying you was making a minute ago, and you said
because you guys are, it's not going through anyone's head at all.
I mean, if that's your argument, that's fine. God can make life so he can bash baby's brains out, and that's not murder. So, I mean, if that's your argument, great. I mean, great for you. I don't accept that. But I mean, I get it. As a Christian, that's kind of what you're forced to. The corner you're forced into there.
I don't know.
And in Babylon, the verse you're bringing, it is not God speaking. It is not God saying any of that. It's a person in Babylon.
It's a prophet of God, Isaiah.
The anger of man does not produce the righteousness of God.
All right. Well, there you have it. It's just a dude saying a bunch of nonsense. So why believe any of this? Because this entire book is a bunch of dudes saying nonsense.
No, this entire book is a bunch of dudes telling us the reality of this world and why we need a savior, which is Christ.
Christ says, if people would not accept me to rule over them, bring them here and slaughter them in my presence.
I don't know, dude.
I know.
Go ahead, explain to me.
That's what it says. It's Luke chapter 19. It says, "Bad as for these enemies of mine who did not want me to rule over them, bring them here and slaughter them in my presence." That's Jesus talking. He said that.
I think I remember that verse. Bring bring my enemies here and kill them in front of me. The Jesus Christ is ordering a massacre, but when you read in the if you read in the chapter properly, right? I'm gonna talk about Luke 19. Right? It's a parable. I don't know if you remember Jesus was giving a parable.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you,
I do
Joshua.
remember.
Again, a parable. Right?
Yeah.
So
It's a parable about him. It's a reciprocal parable. And
it's
parables aren't mysteries.
it's not
by
a
the way. We
real
know exactly what
command.
parables
He's
mean.
not
They're not a
actually
mystery that
giving.
only Christians can figure out.
It's not a real command. You're making it seem like as if it's a real command.
It is
It's
a real
not.
command.
No, it's a parable. It's a parable.
It's a parable about him being a king when he was about to coincidentally fulfill a prophecy about being a king of the whole world.
It's this. Oh my goodness, bro. The parable is when people reject God's authority, accountability, right, and the justice after rebellion. It's
Why did Jesus ride the
when
donkey into Jerusalem?
I don't know, because he's a humble dude.
No, that's not why.
You know what? To fulfill the prophecy.
Exactly. And what was the prophecy about?
I forgot which verse that was.
It's from Zechariah 9. It's a prophecy about the king entering Jerusalem and commanding peace to the nations.
You said Zechariah 9?
Yeah. It says, "Behold, your king comes to you, humble and victorious, riding on a donkey, on a colt, the foal of a donkey." And it says, "He will cut off the war horse from Ephraim and the chariot from Jerusalem, and the battle bow shall be cut off, and he will command peace to the nations. And his dominion shall be from the river to the sea to the ends of the earth." So Jesus is literally thinking he's about to fulfill a prophecy about becoming the king of the entire world.
Zechariah
And it
9
just so
verse-
happens he's telling a parable about a ruler who's claiming his rulership and saying, "If you will not accept my rule, then slaughter them in my presence."
You're talking about Zechariah 9 verse 9. Something about greatly rejoice, O daughter of Zion. Your king is coming. Yeah. Okay. So the Messiah, your king is coming to you.
Your king, that's right. Yeah. So Jesus thought he was about to be a king in Luke chapter 19.
So
Clearly
the Messiah would be a king. He would bring salvation. He would be humble due to the fact that he's riding on a donkey.
It never says he'll bring salvation. It says the king's going to enter Jerusalem and cut off all war.
Your king
it says he's going to end
is
war
coming to you
command peace
righteous
to the
and
nations.
having salvation. Are you reading?
I've got it memorized. They don't say salvation in a
You've got it
better
memorized.
Hebrew translation. Yeah.
Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout
Shout
daughter
aloud,
of
O daughter of
Jerusalem.
Jerusalem. See,
Behold,
your
your
king
king
comes
is
to you,
coming
humble,
to you. He is
triumphant,
just
and victorious is he, riding on a colt.
He's
Donkey,
just-
the colt, the foal of a donkey.
Okay, let me look at the Hebrew version then, because maybe my King James version sucks.
Well, either way, it's still saying he's the king. That's the part that matters. Jesus thought he was literally about to ride a donkey and be a king. Yes, today is 100 days in a row.
Describe the comment. Yeah. There you go. Okay, it still says the same thing. Riding, he's righteous, victorious, and humble, riding on a donkey.
Yeah. That's what's happening in Luke chapter 19. Like, literally, he tells that parable and then rides a donkey into Jerusalem. Of course, he just ends up crying.
Yeah. Behold, the
And
Lord
blaming all the
will
people that the
possess you.
prophecy don't happen, so it clearly doesn't fulfill that prophecy, which is pretty sad, but whatever.
Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Behold, thy king cometh unto thee. He is triumphant and victorious, lowly, and riding upon an ass, and upon a colt of foal of an ass. Okay, so being a king, the Messiah would be a king. He would bring salvation. He would become humble. And then, so when he enters Jerusalem before his crucifixion in Matthew 21, or you could read John 12 for it.
Or we could read Luke 19.
No, we could read Matthew 21 or John 12.
Or we could read Luke 19, the chapter we're in right now, where he's telling that, and then immediately he rides a donkey right after he tells this parable about being a king. Weird. And, you know, at the very beginning of the parable, he even tells you why he's telling this parable. It's pretty interesting.
And when you continue reading Zechariah 10, and I will cut off the chariot from Ephraim and the horse from Jerusalem, and the battle bow shall be cut off, and he shall speak peace unto nations, and his dominion shall be from sea to sea, and from the river to the ends of the earth. As for thee also, because of the blood of thy covenant, I will send forth thy prisoners out of the pit, wherein is no water.
Yeah, clearly Jesus isn't the Messiah because he doesn't do any of that shit.
Because
none, except ride a donkey.
Dude. So in that
Look,
time,
in Luke 19, he grabs the donkey and rides it.
Okay,
and it doesn't even happen. He ends up crying and blaming all the people that it doesn't happen.
You don't want to listen to me. How about you bring your friend?
Pathetic,
Maybe
bad
he could
joke of a
explain
story,
to you.
man.
Since you don't want to listen
to explain to me.
Okay, bring him in so I could hear his explanation, if possible.
Bring who?
Your friend, Joshua, something like that.
Oh, he's not here right now.
Because you're not trying to listen to me.
But you're not actually saying anything. You're just reading the chapter. But I'm telling you that there's. Do you think Jesus was a king?
About the prophecy, you're the Jews.
You're trying to tell me about Zechariah 9?
The Jews wanted a king who was gonna remove Rome, from.
That was a prophecy.
Oh my gosh, bro. It's like every time I'm trying to explain something, you keep cutting me off. You're not letting me explain to you.
That's because you're not answering the questions that I'm asking you. Was Jesus ever a king?
Yes.
Of who?
Of the world.
You think Jesus was a king of the world?
Yes.
Then how come in Luke 19, after he rides this donkey to claim said kingship, he just ends up crying and blaming all the people that it doesn't happen?
All right. I'm going to explain. Because I think what do you think about when you hear king? What do you think about?
I think what the Old Testament says it is.
No,
all
I'm
the time.
asking
it's an
you.
King of Israel that sits on the throne of David.
There's so many noise every single time in this place. Okay, I'm asking you, like, what is a king to you? What does a king do?
A king is an administrative position where a king is the sole ruler of an entire country. He decides, war policies, tax policies, administrative duties, stuff like that.
Okay, so you're thinking about political and military. You're thinking about political and military king. See, you're expecting the same thing.
That's what David was. That's what Herod is.
You're expecting the same thing. All
Yeah,
right.
why wouldn't I?
So the Messiah prophesied as a king, but they did not say, "Oh, he was prophesied to be a military ruling king." No, it just said
That's
as a
exactly
king.
what's prophesied.
Many kings are not always trying to be out here starting wars, But the prophet says God's chosen one would rule, but in a different way.
If we're not talking about a literal king here, then why was Herod so scared Jesus was going to overthrow him and take his literal throne of Israel?
But because you're thinking about wars and all that type of stuff. No, Jesus did a different, like, can I just explain instead of you constantly cutting me off?
If you're going to stay on track, yeah.
No, just don't cut me off. Just let me explain my part.
What are
All
you going to
right.
explain?
I'm explaining this whole King Zechariah and prophecy stuff that you're
Okay,
telling me
go
about.
ahead.
Okay. When everyone thinks about a king, right? They think about militaries, they think about wars, they think about all of that, right? But Jesus did
Actual
it different.
kingship, yeah.
Oh my gosh, bro. Just don't say anything. Just let me speak, please. Thank you. All right. That's what we think about. But Jesus did something different. He changed the whole story, right? So yes, he did do the whole donkey thing. Yes, it was prophesied that he was gonna bring salvation. He was gonna come humble and all of that, right? He came humble, right? And he did bring salvation, right? The Jews, what they wanted was someone that was going to overthrow Rome. They already thought of what the Messiah was already going to be like. They already knew that, so in their mind, like, yes, the Messiah is coming. All right, this is the perfect time. Rome, because they were under Rome's rule at that moment, right? So when Jesus came, they thought that Jesus was going to get rid of the Romans. They was going to take over and everything. So then what Jesus ends up doing is that he changes the whole perspective. He starts talking about peace, love, and all of those other things, forgiveness. And okay, so what am I being, all right, so what am I being wrong at? Everyone's saying, no,
Jesus
that's
says,
not what
I
it
did
is.
not come to bring peace. I came to bring a sword. I came to set mother against father and son against father and daughter-in-law against mother-in-law. So
Yes, he
Jesus
did.
has a really mixed up story. Apparently, he doesn't even know what a king was. He didn't know that Zechariah 9 was a prophecy about becoming a king and ending all war in Jerusalem. So, yeah, they thought the prophecy was what the prophecy was. A
He
prophecy
said,
about
my
a king who was going
kingdom
to end
is
the war
not
in
of
Jerusalem.
this world. It's
I
not
know he was making shit up
political. It's
because it
not
didn't actually fulfill any
military. It is
prophecies.
spiritual and
Yeah, that's
eternal.
all you can do is say a king's not an
You're,
actual king. You're not
and
actually
and
supposed to
this
do
is
all the
why it's
stuff that the
hard to
prophecy says to
really
do.
explain things to you
Yeah.
guys, because you guys are thinking earthly matter. This is not earthly matter.
Yeah, we're just actually reading the words of the prophecy, and prophecies are pretty,
I think you're reading too deep into the
specific
words.
about what they're saying.
I
Yeah,
think
and you're not reading deep enough. You're
I
making
don't
this
even think
prophecy
you would
whatever you want it to
understand.
be about that
I
makes
don't even
Jesus
think
the
you would
king.
understand
The
any
king of
of.
nothing, the king that's not even a real king. He's
I
just a
don't even
spirit
think you
king,
would.
apparently of a spirit world. But
I don't even
yeah,
think you
sorry,
would
man, but I'm
understand
getting
any
really,
of the
really bored with this
parables.
conversation. Like,
Yeah, man.
oh, I do understand them. You don't understand them.
No, I don't even think you would be able to explain a single parable because you're reading too much into it.
Oh, okay.
Again, he
Am I
literally
reading it
says
too
his
literal? Am I
kingdom is
taking the
not.
words too definitionally, too seriously?
He literally says his kingdom is not of this world. This is not about political, but in the end time, yes,
Coincidentally,
king,
that's exactly what I
mothers
would
and
say. If I wasn't an
mothers and
actual king or fulfiller of any of these actual prophecies, I would make up some shit like that too, coincidentally.
okay, you know what? I think okay, you continue to be in disbelief. You could continue to not believe.
I
That is
will.
fine.
Yep.
And in the
Mhm.
in the end, we'll see who's right and who's wrong. How about that?
We won't.
Okay, fair enough.
All right.
All right. Anything else?
All right. Nope. Have a good one.
You too.
Peace out. The man's got some pythons on him, but yeah, words have meanings, man. They write these words so like the people reading them can understand what they're talking about. So when they write words that say you're going to be a king and end war, I can only assume that we're talking about a king who ends war. And if you're not that, then you will not be accepted as this prophecy fulfiller. So, man, what else can you say? Like, interesting, no? All right, well, we'll give Mocha a chance here, I guess, and then we'll see what's up after that. What you want to talk about, Mocha? Mocha Pine? Mocha Pine? Shit. I guess he's not here anymore.
No, I am.
All right. Well. Yeah, let's say he's still here. I don't know what happened. Maybe I had a bad signal. Anyway. Oh. Oh, there he is. I think. Well, what's up, Mocha? What you want to talk about, bro?
I want you to whoop my ass. Come on. Ugh. I've had too much abstraction talk, and I can't take it anymore, and you're concrete enough to hit me with a brick. Let's go. Ugh. Been up all night.
I hear you. So what are we talking about?
Well, the first thing I heard was you were talking about a day, right?
Talking about what?
A day. What's a day, you know?
Oh, like a day?
In Genesis, there's two chapters, right? The days of the week. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days.
Those never came up here, man.
Oh, I thought you mentioned it. But the last, because you had the problem with Genesis 1 and 2 being a day, and they conflict.
You're on the wrong live, man.
All right. Well, all right. You give it to me. Come on, hit me. Let's go.
Hit you with what? What are you talking about?
You're a concrete speaker. Any of these problems?
Do you want to pick one of the topics?
All right. No.
Are you like under the influence or something?
No, I was talking with people online, and they were very abstract, and it's very hard to wrestle with, especially when you deal with the Bible. And you're a very concrete speaker. You're not going to let it get away with abstract or spiritualism. For example, when he was talking about the spiritual death of Adam, did you not talk about that?
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that. A day never came up, though.
Well, it said he would die the day he ate the fruit, right?
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, but, I mean, nobody ever disputed how long a day was, though.
Right. Well, there's no number for that, so it's an open-ended word in that case. And he did die in the day he was created.
No, a day is a 24-hour period.
When it's specified, yes, I agree. Yeah. However, this is a mystery until people figure out, oh, a day of the Lord is 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is a day. So it solves that problem. Because
no, a day to the Lord is 1,000 years. That's just saying God is timeless. It's not saying a day is actually 1,000 years.
Well, that's what you're saying.
No, I'm not. I'm saying a day is a day.
The Jews think that a day is 1,000 years.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
Like, there's a rabbi right there that just said it's 24 hours. That's a rabbi.
Right, when it specifies. I mean, obviously Genesis specifies Genesis 1. Because it says an evening and a morning, and that's, the first day, the second day, obviously, yeah. But when
obviously.
I mean, the Psalms literally say a day of the Lord is 1,000 years. So like
It says to
Maimonides
the
thinks that
Lord, a day is like 1,000 years, not a day is 1,000 years.
right analogy, yeah.
Yeah. It's not saying a day is anything other than a day.
Maimonides interpreted it this way, that creation week was a blueprint for time. So each day represents 1,000 years. And thus,
No,
Adam
man.
died on the day that he was created
No.
at 9:30. Right?
No.
But that's kind of how the Bible is. It's got these mysteries that get solved later.
Well, it's not mysteries, it's just wrong.
That's one way to interpret it.
Well, I mean, sure.
Because we know he didn't just spiritually die. It wasn't about that. It was he would die.
Yeah, no. And it doesn't. That makes God the liar and the snake the one telling the truth.
Unless it's 1,000-year period.
Yeah, but it's not.
Well, obviously he didn't die when he ate the fruit right that day.
Obviously.
So why would
Well, it's obviously wrong.
well wouldn't Israelite scribes pick up on that immediately? Are they that dumb? I mean, that can't be true.
Well, there was a bunch of different authors altogether. There's like a Genesis 1 and 2, and they don't even match each other. So, I mean,
But I mean, why would the scribes believe in this so much that they copied it so well if they could see immediately that it was wrong?
well, that was the point. It was to make Adam and Eve exit the garden. Like, you had to have that to usher in, like, the age or the world we're in. Like, it had to happen that way, so they had to say something. Like, we couldn't stay in the garden.
Well, we're talking about the numbers, though. I mean, it's either wrong or it's a riddle.
It's
Right?
just wrong, I would say. Yeah.
So is God not capable of riddles?
Why
Or are
would he?
Jews not
Like, if
capable of
God's going to
riddles?
speak in riddles, why should anybody take this God serious at all?
Which begs the question as to why Jewish people carried his book all through the world with them. I mean, why do that?
It's part of their history, man. It's part of their history.
Wrongness?
Yeah. Every history was wrong in some fashion. I mean,
That seems really strange. That people
humans are strange, man.
people as smart as Jewish people would just not think that that's wrong, unless they had an
Yeah, but most Jewish people don't, even actual Jews don't say this is the perfect inerrant word of God. Like, that's just what Christians do. Jews don't actually do that. Like, Jews don't think God was all knowing and all this stuff. Like, that's not a Jewish position. Like, so they don't even have to hold that God was right.
What about
They
the
know
Orthodox?
God does crappy stuff. Like, huh?
Well, I think the Orthodox think that.
Yeah, Orthodox do because they're out of their mind, but Jews don't. They accept the text for what it is for the most part.
No, Orthodox are Jews. They're Orthodox Jews.
Oh, well, I mean, maybe, but I don't know a single one of them that say God's perfect.
I think that's what being an Orthodox is to have that conservative view of the Torah being God's word, no errors.
They might think it's God's word, but they don't think God is perfect or all-knowing. Though, like, that is not reflected in the text at all. Like, yeah, there's a rabbi right here. Yeah.
Is he Orthodox?
She is not
sorry.
Orthodox, I don't think.
Sorry, okay, I see that.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's not reflected in. That's a Christian. That's the way Christians look at it. It's like a projection onto the Jews, but the Jews don't actually think none of that stuff. Like, they know there's problems with the text for the most part, and they know there's problems with God being perfect and all-knowing because that's not reflected in the text, so they don't hold that position.
So God,
Jews are far more
text.
concerned with what the words actually say than Christians are. Like Christians don't give a shit what it says; they care what they want it to say. Where Jews don't have to do that, nor do they want to do that, as far as I know.
So God, in the text in Genesis, creates the entire universe, and somehow we're not to infer that He's almighty and all-knowing. Like, that's not a thing in the text.
No, he clearly doesn't know everything. Even in Genesis, like in Genesis 18, he has to go see stuff for himself to verify it. Like if he was all knowing, he wouldn't have to go verify things with his eyeballs himself.
Well, that is odd in that backdrop, of course.
Yeah, and like actual Jewish tradition in the Old Testament, like God makes mistakes. He has regrets. Like he learns as he's going. Like so you don't have to take the position that God's this all knowing, all powerful being when he's clearly not.
Unless the Christian,
Again, that's a thing Christians think. Like
well, even more than that, the Trinitarian view makes more sense in that situation.
no, it makes no sense in any situation.
Yeah, because you want to account for him going to see something. Wouldn't he already know? Unless it was the Son of Man, Son of God, going to see in that capacity as a part of God that doesn't know all.
In Genesis?
Yeah, sure.
What does Jesus have to do with that?
Well, you're saying God, but what do you mean by God in Genesis? You.
I mean Yahweh.
Is that clear as to his nature, or is that just sort of a name that hides him?
I don't know what you mean by that.
Well, do we agree that God kind of hides himself in the story of the Torah? He's not clearly presented to the people. It's sort of a part of the narrative.
No, I don't think so. I mean,
Even his name.
We was just reading Exodus 24. That's where Moses, Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, and 70 elders all see God. He sort of hides himself for a little while in Isaiah. But he tends to abandon them like when they're doing bad. But he doesn't like, what?
Well, he hides behind the cloud. He hides behind the fire on the mountain. Hides behind his name. His name is very nondescript. I will be what I will be. Wow, that's really informative. Thanks, God. It's sort of like
then it's ill. Like he reveals his name to him. Like,
well, yeah. What's his name?
His name's Yahweh, but he's also referred to as El Elyon.
Right. What does Yahweh mean?
What does Yahweh mean?
Yeah.
I guess it means I don't know. I'm the one or something like that, or the one.
It means he is.
Oh, okay.
But that's not even what he told Moses. He said, "I will be what I will be."
I don't even know what we're arguing right now.
Well, we're arguing that God hides himself in the Old Testament, but Christians see Trinity.
Well, clearly he doesn't. Like maybe sometimes, but not all the time. Like because they all see him. Like Jacob literally says, "I saw God face to face and lived." So I mean, maybe sometimes, like in Isaiah, there's a passage that said, "Truly, you're a God who hides yourself," but it wasn't. But I mean, he doesn't say all the time, though. Like it even says, like in Isaiah 54, he says, "For a brief moment I abandoned you. For a brief moment I hid my face from you."
Right. I'm trying to account for the fact that we have these strange.
Oh, Marcus is back. Hold on a second. I'm gonna read something from Marcus there. Where's that at? Oh, I don't have a Genesis tab. Bro thinks Jacob is talking to God. Oh, let's see who it says he's talking to. Jacob Russell's. What's that at?
I think Wiz is wrong on that.
Oh, it says, "For I have seen God face to face, yet my life is preserved." That's weird.
It is weird.
Yeah, it is weird. He says God. So I wonder who he saw if not God, or why he would say God if he didn't mean God. That's interesting.
Is that another riddle?
It's just us atheists reading what it actually says again. Reading it a little too literal there.
I like that.
Not God the Father. What other God is there that Jacob wrestled with? Not God. It must have been Baal. Maybe he was wrestling Baal, and he didn't know. Interesting. Well,
I'm sure Jacob was as
sorry.
shocked.
Huh?
I'm sure Jacob was as shocked as we are.
I'm just saying. It says, "For I have seen God face to face, yet my life is preserved." I haven't seen a lesser God or a different God or an angel of God. It says, "I have seen God face to face, yet my life was preserved."
So what if the Christians
We just
are
read
right
it too literal.
about Jesus?
What?
What if the Christians are right and he saw Jesus?
Then prove it. I mean, Jesus was just a fraud, man. There's no reason to think any of this was about Jesus, even in the New Testament. It's too much wrong. There's too many problems. None of it adds up. He doesn't actually fit the description of any of these prophecies unless you just totally change the prophecy and say they didn't mean what it actually meant. Like, war doesn't actually mean war. A day isn't actually a day. A king's not actually a king. The kingdom of David's not a literal kingdom. Like, you literally have to change everything about it to even get it somewhat close to Jesus. And that's pretty sad, in my opinion.
Well, where are these rules found?
Huh?
I mean, where are these rules found?
In the Bible.
How to interpret the Bible is found in the Bible? It's a serious problem.
No. Well, I mean, how you interpret words is you read them and go with the actual definitions of the words. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, some places in the Bible, the word means exactly the opposite, but they interpret it as the opposite of the word.
well, all you got to do is discern the actual context of what's going on. Like like in these prophecies, when it says a king's going to come forth and bring forth justice in the land and bring forth justice to the earth, I can only assume that he's referring to a place that's on the earth, since he's saying it's on the earth. You know what I mean?
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
And I think that he did that.
So,
doing that as a process.
yeah. Jesus was never a king of anything. He was never anointed. Like, never nothing.
He was anointed.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, the lady came with really expensive spikenard and on his head.
Oh, the lady in the house anointed?
Yeah. It happened.
Oh, you got me there. He was anointed by a lady in a house.
All right. We're moving forward.
All right. So that's not actually being anointed. That's a lady in a house dumping oil on your head. An actual anointment is where you're anointed in front of all Israel under ritual.
Well, he was put up in front of all Israel, that's for sure.
Personally, I think the New Testament made that story up because somebody thought out the story about Jesus and somebody's like, "Hey, there's a problem here." And somebody else was like, "What is it?" And they were like, "Christ means anointed." And they're like, "Yeah, so?" And they're like, "Our boy wasn't actually anointed." So they like made a lady in a house do it. Like, that's not an actual anointment.
Because you say so, or?
No, because kings actually get anointed in front of Israel. There's like a whole ritual for it, and a whole bunch of stuff they do. Not like a lady in a house. Like, it doesn't work like that.
Well, it did that time.
Like a lady can dump oil on my head in a house right now. That doesn't make me the king of Israel, does it?
Well, no, we got to see if millions and billions of people follow you.
Exactly.
Which that happened. Jesus got his kingdom. He got all of his subjects that follow him and place their belief in him. He literally
The
has all his.
prophecies say he's going to rule the kingdom of David. You have to come from the body, the genetics of David, and rule the throne of David. That's a literal kingdom in a literal place. Herod thought his literal throne was going to be overthrown by Jesus. So we're definitely talking about a literal king of Jerusalem or Israel.
We're all kings of Israel in Israel.
Yay, then I'm the Messiah. Worship me.
No, not all kings were in Israel, the land.
Oh.
You got Zedekiah. I can't remember the guy before him, but they were outside of the land.
Yeah, but they were from the line of David.
Sure, so was he.
No, he wasn't. Joseph didn't even consummate the marriage until after Jesus was born. So Joseph wasn't even his father, and the only lineage to David was through Joseph.
Mary, you mean?
No, the Bible never gives Mary lineage.
So it seems like those two lineages are through David.
What two lineages?
Well, the ones that you're referring to in Matthew and Luke.
Well, Matthew's just wrong because it goes through Jeconiah, and that line's cursed, and Luke is given a legit line, but it says Joseph didn't even consummate the marriage until after Jesus was born. So how in the world can you go through Joseph to get to David if Joseph didn't even consummate with Mary until after Jesus was born?
So Mary's not of David's line?
No. Never says it is. She is.
Yeah, it gives her genealogy in one of them.
It doesn't. You're talking about Luke chapter 3, and it says that Jesus was about 30 years old when he began his work. He was the son, as was thought, of Joseph, son of Heli, son of Mattab, son of Levi, son of Malachi. This says it's Joseph's. It doesn't say Mary anywhere there.
So as was thought doesn't mean Mary?
Joseph, son of Heli. Joseph. It says as was thought of Joseph, son of Heli. Doesn't say Mary.
Really Mary.
Why would it? What? No.
Because it says as was thought, but really Mary.
It doesn't say that. It says as was thought of Joseph, son of Heli.
What does that mean? As was thought. Why would he say that?
It means just what it says. It means we thought this was true. It doesn't mean this is true. It means, man, it's kind of like what we thought.
Yeah, we thought it was Joseph, but it was really Mary. That's the only other option, right?
Where in the world are you getting that from?
I mean, it shouldn't even say as was thought. It should just say Joseph, right?
It probably should, but it don't.
Well, that's the thing. It's these little notations.
It says Joseph, though. It doesn't say Mary. It says Joseph. The Bible doesn't give genealogies through women, man. Ever.
Well, that's a problem. I mean, that's there you go. That's the answer.
It's not a problem for me. It's a problem for the book. I mean.
Right. So if that's the way it is, then they say it as was thought. Because they don't go through.
But like, even if this said what Christians wanted it to say, even if it said we know for certain that Joseph is Jesus's dad and Jesus goes through David, it still doesn't matter because Jesus doesn't do any prophecy says this Messiah is actually going to do. None of it. He does zero. Even if he was a direct descendant of David, he still didn't fulfill the prophecies because he never sat on the throne of David, not for a second.
It's weird because his kingdom overtook Rome on time, as Daniel 7 says, and Daniel 2 parallels that with the 4 kingdoms on time. It gives the 10 horns of the Caesars from Julius to Vespasian, and then it's cut off by the destruction of the temple.
And Rome still didn't fall for 500 years later.
Well, 360 years.
Jerusalem was not its own kingdom again. anytime after that. Oh, all the way up until like 1940.
Right. So Daniel 9 says, or sorry, 7 says that for a season and a time, Rome would be preserved, the fourth kingdom, really. So a season is 90 day years. That's from Julius Caesar until Jesus is crowned king in AD 30. 360 years after that, Bishop Ambrose told Theodosius, the emperor of Rome, what to do, and he obeyed. That's the power and timing of God.
I would
Without
have been
any
a lot more
weapons.
impressed if the timing was in Jesus' lifetime, because that would have made him maybe an actual Messiah.
Well, he predicted the destruction of Jerusalem in his lifetime. That's pretty good.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he said, if you're on your rooftops,
They
look
already
down.
knew the temple was going to be destroyed, man. That was just reading the political atmosphere. It was Rome. Like the Sanhedrin was telling people to calm down, or Rome would destroy the temple like 50 years before Jesus.
Where do
So
you get
like
that?
they were already scared. They were from the Sanhedrin, but they were already. That was way before Jesus. They already thought the temple was going to be destroyed because they knew Rome was crazy. But I mean, it's like if we were, say, England reoccupied America and reconquered America, but they were still kind of letting America be America. Like they said, if y'all mess up, we're going to destroy this White House up here, and y'all aren't going to get to be America anymore. It would just be like somebody saying, "Hey, oh my goodness, what if they destroy the White House?" Like it's nothing. It's not profound or anything. It was a legit political reading at the time. Like any fool could have predicted the temple was going to be destroyed.
Well, I mean, that
That's a,
the prophecy
there's
of
problems
his
with all this. Like the whole doctrine is a bad joke.
the prophecy from Daniel did come to pass on time, and that's not the only one either. I mean, Moses gives the prophecy that the temple would be destroyed, but then Israel would come back after many years.
Daniel says Greece is the final kingdom, man.
That's number 3.
No, Greece
it has
is
4
the final
heads.
kingdom.
The leopard has 4 heads, and those are the 4 generals.
It
After-
literally says the shaggy goat is Greece. It says the prince of Greece, the king of
Well,
Greece.
that's a different chapter.
And even in Zechariah, it's talking about Greece. It says this Messiah is going to conquer and consume the slinger of Greece.
But you were talking about Daniel 8, weren't you?
Oh, I don't know, one of them, yeah. I don't even
Yeah,
remember right
the
now.
other ones, the Daniel 7 is the 4-headed leopard, meaning Greece again, right?
Oh, I don't know. It says it's Greece in one of them. It says the shaggy goat is Greece.
Right, that's explicit in Daniel 8, right? And that came to pass. That whole thing is the most impressive prophecy in all of Scripture.
I mean, not to me, because I know when it was written, but it's not impressive at all. Because it doesn't even get the stuff about Babylon right.
So getting a 2,300-year prophecy to the day is not impressive to you.
That's
Something
not what happened.
That's amazing. What would be impressive to you?
If this book actually lined up with itself, I would probably still be a Christian, actually.
I mean, I don't know what to say. A 2,300-year prophecy is impressive.
It's not a prophecy, and it's not impressive. It's talking about Greece.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it starts with Alexander, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he crossed the Hellespont in 334, right?
The Hellespont? It was way before that. It was more like 323, I think. Or wait, no, I'm going backwards. Hold on. It'd be 3. Yeah, I guess it would have been. Yeah, it would have been somewhere in there. Yeah.
Yeah, so
way before the book of Daniel was even written. Yeah.
I mean, the time period, it subsumes the whole thing about when it's written, so that really doesn't matter all that much. But
well, I mean, it does to me, because it kind of explains why he's writing the way he's writing and what he's writing. Like, I mean, the Book of Maccabees, even Josephus, all say that Daniel's talking about Antiochus Epiphanes the Fourth.
Hardly. But now we're jumping around.
Sure.
Josephus did save his own butt by telling Titus that he was going to be the next emperor, because he understood Daniel and his ability to prophesy.
He never says anything about Rome, though.
The fourth beast of the four beasts is Rome, and so is the.
It never mentions Rome one time.
Right. It doesn't have to.
It mentions Greece, though, coincidentally.
In Daniel 8, that's a different chapter. You're jumping.
Does it mention Rome ever?
Does it have to?
If it's a prophecy about Rome, it does.
Well, they start with Babylon.
Yeah. So it's naming all these kingdoms that it's talking about, but coincidentally leaves out the main one that the prophecy is actually talking about. What a coincidence.
So,
you got to look at you got to understand even the way that the Bible is phrasing this. Even the Bible is calling Media a kingdom. So you're not counting Media as one of the kingdoms, but the Bible is. So I think that's pretty important to consider.
Not when Greece is the third kingdom.
Why is it the fourth kingdom?
Why does it have four heads?
Why does what have four heads?
The leopard.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, you're just going to skip that part?
Yeah, I'm really pretty bored with this, to be honest with you. We've had this conversation before.
Well, I think you're forcing it because you don't want it to be true.
I'm not forcing anything. If it was true, I would still be a Christian, like I just said. But I'm not interpreting it the way you are. I'm interpreting it by what it says, by the historical context, by scholarly consensus, and none of it lines up with Rome being the fourth kingdom, unless you ask a Christian specifically. But even in the Bible, Media is a kingdom. So if you are not counting Media as a kingdom, you are not counting the way the Bible does.
That doesn't follow Daniel 8.
It does.
Because what is the ram or the goat attacks the two horned?
Doesn't matter. I'm just talking about the four kingdoms.
Who did
Syria,
who did the goat?
Persia and Greece.
Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, Rome. The four heads are the four generals that came after Alexander. Lysimachus, Cassander, Antiochus, Seleucus.
Then how come the Bible says that Media is the one that conquers Babylon?
Yeah, they came first. Persia came after.
You didn't count Mede as a Persia, though. You counted it with it.
Yeah, it's the two-horned ram. Medo-Persia. Alexander defeats it.
It doesn't say Medo-Persia, it just says the Medes.
Maybe at that point, but it is referred to as Medo-Persia.
It doesn't matter at any point. It's still separate, right?
What is the ram in Daniel 8?
What?
What does the ram represent in Daniel 8?
Oh, I don't even remember. I'd have to go reread it.
Oh, okay.
I don't give Daniel much credit because of Jeremiah and Isaiah and Lamentations. And when it was actually written.
Yeah, 6th century.
And it gets everything about Babylon wrong, so. It's what?
6th century, yeah.
That's not what any scholar says.
Is Josephus a scholar?
Sure, he don't say it's from the 6th century.
Yeah, he does. He says it's 408 years before the first.
He also
Hanukkah.
says, okay, well, he says it's about Antiochus Epiphanes the Fourth. So why don't you agree with him on that?
There is a part in Daniel that's about Antiochus. I agree.
Yeah,
but that's just a part.
That's Greece, man. They were Greece.
So you don't think it's interesting that there's 4 generals that took over from Alexander? His 4 generals.
Yeah.
And then 2 of them became the story in Daniel 10 through 12, Antiochus
Yeah, and then
versus
they
Seleucus.
split off, and like 150 years later, the Maccabean revolt gets sparked.
Right.
Right.
And that sets up the whole scenario for why the Romans are in Israel, because they contracted with Rome. Right?
Sure.
They didn't contract with Greece.
They were contracted with Greece for a long, long time, and then they won their independence. This is a huge part of Jewish history. That's what led to Hanukkah.
Well, Hanukkah is what led to the contract with Rome. It literally says that in Maccabees. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So Rome is the target here in the story, not Greece.
Never says Rome once. Never insinuates Rome. Never talks about Rome.
Yet the whole story is about Rome.
It's not. Like, angels interpret all these visions. It tells you what they mean. And I do think he's purposely, like, confusing about it in some cases. But, I mean, I just don't see historically and biblically how you could ever land on Rome unless you ask a Christian. They're literally the only ones who think this is about Rome.
Well, was
Which
Greece
coincidentally you kind of have to.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got the
Christianity
gospel at the time of Rome occupying everything. They took away their right of capital punishment, which was a prophecy that Jacob made thousands of years before. Why is Rome there? Why is that the subject in the Gospels?
Because that's when Rome is occupied during the 1st century.
Right, that's obvious.
But not during the 2nd century BC or the 6th century BC.
Well, Rome got there at the time.
They didn't have a clue in the 6th century anything about Rome taking them over. The thought hadn't entered their mind. It's not in any Old Testament text. It doesn't mention them in any Old Testament text. It's not even sort of kind of insinuated, so it makes no sense to say that Daniel was written in the 6th century, along with Jeremiah and Isaiah and all these other prophets, which maybe not Isaiah, but part of Isaiah anyway. And then say Daniel's the one that guessed it was about Rome, and none of the other ones insinuated anything about that.
Well, why would the gospel writers spend all this time writing about Jesus in the time of Rome?
Because they want it to be about Jesus when it's clearly not. It's just Christian desperation to make their religion right. Even though it's supposed to be faith-based, not fact-based. Huh?
But they knew. Then that means they knew it was about Rome.
No, Christians think it was about Rome because they want it to be about Rome so they can validate their own religion, but it's clearly not about Rome. The Old Testament doesn't have anything to do with Jesus. Like, Jesus doesn't fit nothing. Whoever wrote the New Testament doesn't even have a clue what's going on in the Old Testament. They have no idea what these new covenants and stuff are about.
Moses wrote about Rome.
Huh?
Moses prophesied the same thing about Rome.
He did.
Yep. Deuteronomy 30 said the eagle will come down, a nation whom your fathers did not know, that come from a land that you did not come from. The eagle was the Aquila. They carried that wherever they went.
Yeah, Babylon's the land they didn't come from.
That they did come from Babylon. Abraham came from Babylon. A Semitic nation. That was their forefathers. So it couldn't be Babylon. It had to be Rome.
I don't agree with you, man. Unfortunately.
But the point is that Moses, Daniel, Jesus, Paul all spoke of the same period of time, the time of the Gentiles, that was initiated by Alexander the Great in Daniel 8, all the way up until the cleansing of the temple, which is 1967. So we've seen the prophecy completed, and still you don't believe.
What happened when this prophecy was completed? What changed?
They took back Jerusalem.
And?
Now they're in control of the sanctuary city, Jerusalem. They didn't have that until...
Okay, well, whoop-de-doo. What does that got to do with God and mankind changing because the prophecy was fulfilled?
So it doesn't impress you that it was fulfilled 2,300 years exactly.
Mm-mm. No,
Nothing's
I can rebuild it
impressive.
right now. Like I could read this book and say, "Hey, I have the power to rebuild this temple. Let's fulfill a prophecy." This is me rebuilding it because I wanted to fulfill a prophecy.
No, you can't.
But it doesn't even matter because in Jeremiah, these new covenants that are made in the Old Testament are broken anyway. You can't be a nation before God ever again, according to the Old Testament.
How can you rebuild the temple yourself? You?
I'm not
I'm
saying I
confused.
could. I'm saying if I had the power to do it, like if I have, coincidentally won a world war and got to decide, these territories and what's going up and down, or even right now. Of course, a bunch of Christians right now who are there are going to say, hey, we could make this prophecy happen right now. So just assume they did it. They built a temple. What then? What's going to happen after the temple's rebuilt?
Jesus said he would not return until they say, "Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord." So that's almost going to happen.
It's almost going to happen?
I mean, you're watching it unfold before your eyes. Israel's coming back to the land like Moses said they would. They will be.
Well, I'll tell you what. When the skies shake and we all hear a trumpet, I'll fire up the live here and I'll say, hey, Mocha, I was wrong. My bad.
It will be too late.
Oh, well, it'll just be too late for me then. But until then, I'm just going to call it nonsense, like I said. Nonsense. This is,
I mean, they're literally coming back like they said they would. Their hearts will be cut. So their hearts aren't cut yet. Right? They don't believe in Jesus yet.
Mm-mm.
They would make the land more prosperous than their fathers. This is all happening in front of you, and you still don't believe.
Why would I?
Well, I mean, that's another question. But I'm saying you just won't no matter what.
No, I'm saying if this book actually made sense, I would still be a Christian. But it doesn't, so I'm not.
Does it?
The covenant was broken, man. It's over. This can't happen. Like God already said way back in the Old Testament, He says there's three things that's going to take place here, and if any of these things ever stop, it's over forever. And those things stopped. So I can only assume this is over forever, and it's been over for 2,500 years now. But some people won't let it go.
Yeah, like God. He said the Torah is forever.
Here,
Right?
I'll tell you what. I'll just read it real quick. Let's read what God said. God says, if this fixed order were to ever cease from my presence, says the Lord, then also the offspring of Israel will cease to be a nation before me forever.
Right. The fixed order is the stars, and they will not go away. Right?
There's other stuff that we can actually measure here that is not supposed to go away, but they clearly did go away.
But I noticed you skipped that. You skipped the sun, moon, and the stars. That's the fixed
after
order.
that. I didn't skip it. Oh, well, it is in front of it there. Okay, thus says the Lord who gives the sun for light by day and the fixed order of the moon and the stars for light by night, who stirs up the sea so that its waves roar. The Lord of hosts is his name. If this fixed order were to ever cease from my presence, says the Lord, then also the offspring of Israel will cease to be a nation before me forever. Thus says the Lord, if the heavens above can be measured and the foundations of the earth below can be explored, then I will reject all the offspring of Israel because of all they have done, says the Lord. So have we explored the foundations of the earth?
He hasn't rejected them. Those orders will not go away. Wait, what?
If the heavens above can be measured and the foundations of the earth can be explored, then I will reject all the offspring of Israel. We've explored the entire earth.
No, we haven't.
Yes, we have.
The oceans are very unexplored, and you can't explore the whole entire heavens. It's so big. You can't.
All right, well, what about this part? It says, Jerusalem will be rebuilt and enlarged, and it shall never again be uprooted or overthrown.
You're about to see that.
You're telling me Jerusalem has never been uprooted or overthrown since 500 BC?
Well, that's also promised too, but he said he would always bring them back. Like, why don't you want God to be faithful to you? Why don't you want him to care about you?
This guy's horrible. I don't worship baby murdering, rapist, slavery gods. Even if this was all true, I would still not worship this God. might still be a Christian, but once I actually read the atrocities part, it's not happening.
Do you think aborting babies is an atrocity?
No.
Well, that's an about face.
Do you think running a pregnant woman through with a sword is an atrocity?
I mean, that's a condition, but why are you're choosing one over the other? Either they're both atrocities or not.
No, abortion up until a certain point isn't a baby. That's why.
That's your interpretation. And I don't like talking about abortion.
No, it's not.
But
Well, I don't know why abortion would bother you, because God is saying here that babies are going to be bashed to pieces. Those are living babies that have already been born. And it says he's going to have a bunch of women raped, and they will have no mercy on the fruit of the womb. So, I mean, if you're arguing abortion's bad because God says so, God doesn't say so. He says it's fine.
I just want to know if you really believe that killing babies is an atrocity.
Yeah, I do.
But babies in the womb are not babies.
No, they become babies when they're actually babies at a certain point in development.
When is that?
I'd give it up till, I don't know, 24 weeks or so. 20, 24 weeks.
Yeah, you choose.
Before sentence.
Whenever's convenient for you, I guess.
Yeah. So which one of these is the baby being murdered here? You got a 1 in 8 chance of getting it right. Hold on, let me get it. Yeah, there we go. Can you see that?
I don't see the relevance, but...
These are the human babies. One of them is, anyway. Which one of these is the human baby that's being murdered?
I don't see the relevance.
Which one? Pick out the human. Which one of these is the human?
But why are you asking?
Because this is about abortion, right?
No, it's questioning whether or not you think it's an atrocity. I think that's convenient.
When it's a baby. Can you show me which one of these is the baby that I'm supposedly murdering in the womb?
Why don't you show one in the womb?
This is in the womb. These are fetuses. Which one's the human?
Does that matter?
Yeah, it matters. If you can't even tell me what the baby being murdered here, how can you tell me this is a baby if you can't even tell me which one's the baby?
Because we don't look at sheets of paper. We look at sonograms. We look at women. Human women. We don't
sonograms. It was a drawing, but it's a sonogram of a baby at a certain stage. So which one's the baby?
I don't set the limit as to when it becomes a baby. I'm not God, like you are pretending.
Oh, okay, so there is a limit on when it becomes a baby, right?
No, I don't set that limit. It's always a baby.
Oh, no.
You're the one
it's
making that.
It's always a baby, yes.
Because you're God.
So in a lab, if we put a sperm and an egg in a petri dish, and I knock it off there, that's me murdering a baby.
Yep, don't do that.
Oh, okay. So why would you call that murder, but not murder when God says to have these babies bashed to pieces before their eyes?
All right, where does it say that?
It's Isaiah 13, chapter 13, verse 16.
Reading this will not be my answer, but just for thoroughness, let's look at it. All right. So before I answer, does God not have ownership of his entire creation?
Yeah, sure. He can bash all the babies he wants, right?
Right. It's just abortion, right?
No, this isn't abortion. These babies are already born.
I just don't see the difference.
I don't know.
God can do whatever he wants.
I don't know. So, are you okay with slavery too? Because God don't mind that.
Are we not all slaves?
Nope.
You're not a
Does
slave.
somebody own you as property right now? Do they make you work and keep all the money?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Wow. What a liar. Oh boy. Yep. Nope. All right. If it devolves into lies, man, that's no longer a conversation I'm interested in. Oh, well, I'll try. Maybe this one fella's still here. I doubt it. Oh, shit, it is. Huh, maybe. Or maybe not. All right. Yeah, he's not there. Okay. Oh, man. Yeah, y'all. Thanks for coming. This is the 100th day in a row that I've been doing this craziness. That was a dumb response. No, I'm not. Now you're just making shit up, man. That's doesn't say. Thank you, Fenrison. Appreciate that. Oh, yep, 100 days in a row, y'all. Tomorrow will be 101. I'm gonna be back tomorrow. I'm gonna decide like I can't just continue on. Like I'm gonna have to take a damn day off. Which today I actually felt kind of crappy. I woke up with a damn runny ass nose and shit again. Again. I'm saying at the start of the show, I've had more boogers this fucking winter than a damn coal mines had coal. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I'm gonna have to. I don't know. I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna at least do Monday through Friday, I think. But I don't even know. Like, let's see. Hell, I might just run on until like the 27th of this month, I guess. Yeah, that's when Resident Evil game comes out. I gotta be might take off and play that shit. I've been waiting on it a long time. I love the Resident Evil games. So I can't. I hardly ever even play video games. It's like once or twice a year, maybe, that one even comes out that I'm like really hyped up on playing. But all the Resident Evil games are the shit. And the last one they made, that Resident Evil 4 remake, it was the bomb. It's fucking good. Oh, no, I can't do that. It's not even viable to do a year straight. That would be crazy. But I think I'm going to at least do Monday through Friday, and then I'm gonna do Sunday if I wake up early enough. Because on Sundays are usually an awesome day to stream, but you got to start at like 5 or 6 o'clock because it starts tapering off. And then today was actually a really good day. But Saturdays are kind of hit and miss. Like there's either a whole bunch of people on or not many. So I think I might just leave off the Sabbath, not because I care it's the Sabbath or nothing, obviously, but. Yeah, it's actually even worse than God just endorsing slavery. It doesn't just say you can own people as property. It also says you can sell your daughter as a slave, and she shall not go out as the male slaves do. It says that you can take women and children as captives in war plunder. Like, I get why people are Christian, man, because I was one for a long time. But, like, I just don't understand how, like, regular, good, otherwise intelligent, caring folks can read stuff like this and make excuses for it when it's their God. Like, I almost guarantee you, if you showed anybody this shit, but you wrote Allah and the Quran on the front of it, it wouldn't take them 2 seconds. They'd be like, oh, hell no, that's bullshit. This guy, the God of the Muslims, is awful. And be like, oh, this is actually the Bible here. And they're like, oh, well, it was good then, right? No. It's one of the detestable things about religion, I think. Now, with that said, this is an extremely, like, I actually get why somebody Jewish would be Jewish. I would do it just for the historical, like, this is the history of your people. But you don't have to. You don't, as a Jew, you don't have to admit you love slavery. Like, that's not how it works. Like, that's how Christians would say it. Christians are the only one who say if it's in this book, it's good. It has to be right. Like, that's just Christians. They're the only ones who adhere to that level. Well, that and Muslims, but a little different story with them. Like, Jews don't have the same. Christians project all their thoughts onto everybody else, even though nobody's the same, and especially Jews. Jews aren't even close to the same. They don't have to take every single bit of this as a doctrine that you absolutely have to do no matter what, or else. Well, just don't look at it that way, man. Anyway, let's see where we're at here. Oh, shit. It's only been 2 hours and 40 minutes. Yeah, kind of pushing up on. Have to run anyway. That's fucking funny, Blue Cajun. I'll say that there. That's funny. Bring the Jacob guy up. Oh, I don't have anybody else in the queue right now. I do still got a minute. Yeah, that's part of the prophecies, man. He's going to regather them all, which never happened. So certainly Jesus didn't do it. So that's just another thing. Oh, never mind. Like I was just saying the other day, like I did let me put it this way. So I did a genetic test and I'm like over 80% British, like straight up fucking British, like not even hardly anything else. So if like, this is what I was saying yesterday, like if there was like an actual like druid Bible, like I would totally claim that shit all day, even if it had horrible shit in there, because I don't have to do the horrible shit. Like I'm like, this is history, you know what I mean? Like history's an ugly thing. It has good, it has bad, it has ugly. But like if I'm all British like that, I think it would be cool to have like 5,000 years worth of like history. Like I would totally claim that shit all day. But it doesn't mean if it said like they had slaves, I'd be like, oh yeah, having slaves are totally cool because Druids did it 5,000 years ago. Like, that's not how it works. Like I said, it's just a Christian thing. Like Christians are the only one. Well, Christians and Muslims are the only ones who are like strictly doctrine washed over and over and over again. Like you have to apply to some sort of doctrine 100% or else. That's what Christianity is. It's love me or burn. Here's your choice is life or fire. That's it. Like it's no, that's horrible stuff. Horrible stuff. Yeah, it does, because Jesus says you have to do all that stuff. Like this is Jesus. If you follow Jesus, you have to follow what Jesus said, even though Christians don't actually do that, and they tell everybody else to do that, even though they don't do it themselves. That's what makes it a bad joke. But Jesus said, if you love me, keep all my commands. He says, the law will not pass away until heaven and earth pass away. But, you know, Christians aren't so concerned with what Jesus said necessarily, but at the same time they are. That's why it's so weird. Like, yeah, you have to do all this stuff. I'm like, so you do that, right? I'm like, oh no, we're all sinners. Everybody should be Christians, even though Christians can't be Christians because Christians are all sinners and nobody's perfect. But hey, come to the religion where it's impossible to do anything that the book actually says to do. It's pretty bad. Anyway, guys, so day 100 was pretty darn good. Pretty darn good, really. I mean, the Marcus fella came back today. Apparently he just totally forgot yesterday and the day before that, but anyway, he was back today. Arguing in circles. That's what, I think that's all you can do as a Christian though, unfortunately, but then again, that's why I do this channel. I'm trying to break people out of the cultish mindset that is Christianity. course, none of you can't tell none of them that. Nothing but Cajun, thank you. I haven't got one of the wacky waving inflatable arm flailing two mans in quite a while. So thank you for the wacky waving inflatable arm flailing two man. I appreciate that. It's very cool. Yeah. Dang it. I'll tell you what. I'll give it like 5 more minutes. We'll see if we get a new person up. And if not, man, I had a long day yesterday. That's kind of why I'm kind of tired and shit today, even though I slept okay last night. But man, I had a long day yesterday. I did a long stream, and then I worked a long freaking time, longer than normal. Ugh. So, yeah, I'll tell you what, we'll give it another minute, because I do still, like, if I got pressed, I could stay on for another half hour or so it's plenty of time for a good, decent conversation, I think. Where we are, it just tells you his commandment. Jesus didn't make up a commandment. Jesus don't have any of his own commands. He's talking about commands of God. He says, if you love me, you will keep all my commands. Kind of, yeah, it gets confusing. I mean, the Gospels don't line up with each other, so you kind of got to pick one and run with it. But anyway, it says, for truly I tell you, until heaven and earth pass away, not one letter, not one stroke of a letter will pass from the law until all is accomplished. I mean, that's pretty darn clear, right? And now, Tom, that's actually a good recommendation to restart, but I don't think it's barely worth it at this point. If I still had like an hour and a half of show left, I probably would do one if it came down to it, but the algorithm's still moving, so I mean, there's still people coming through. Wait, what? I mean, it's pretty clear. I don't even know who you're talking to anymore. You might not even be talking to me. When there's dressing things. Is today Valentine's Day? It's 14. Oh yeah, it is Valentine's. Shit. It's just Saturday to me, man. It's just the Sabbath. Not one letter, not one stroke of a letter will pass from the law. So I'm pretty sure that means that not a single letter or dot of a letter is going to change from the entire law until all is accomplished. All is accomplished. Thank you, Mommy. Damn, I forgot it's Valentine's Day. Shit. Much love to you all. You all could be my Valentine today. Yes, thank you all. Yes, I want to be like, hey, 100 days, we did it. It's like, I'm actually just kind of tired. I'm just being honest. Like, man, 100 days, that's a long time, man. Like, oh, man, that's a long time. Well over 3 months straight. And this ain't like I've been doing this for 20 or 30 minutes every morning. Like, I put in at least a couple hours usually. Like today, where we at? 2 hours and 50 minutes just today. So, I mean, like, I will. I'm going to take a day off. Like, it's coming. I just don't know when, but I am going to have to, like, restructure where I got some time to regroup my damn head every now and then. This shit's hard, man. Like, it's hard to come up here and listen to people defend baby murder and rape and slavery. Like, people in the year 2026 are going to come up here and say, oh, that's just God being God, you know. God wants to bash babies' brains out, he's going to bash them out. And of course that's not murder. That's love. Like, yeah. 10 CS. Godwin, hey buddy. No, I'm okay. I give it till like the point of sentience in abortion. The Like there is a point, believe it or not, that lasts a while where there's a little fetus in there, but it doesn't have an operating brain. It's not sitting there thinking like, I wonder what I'm going to do tomorrow, or having pain receptors to even feel pain. Like up until this point, I think it is absolutely a woman's choice. Like, I mean, even arguably beyond that, if you're going with bodily autonomy, then people should be able to do whatever the hell they want to do with their bodies, and there's nothing wrong with that, I don't think. But I mean, it's the same thing as you're ultimately trying to grant more rights to a fucking fetus than an actual baby has. Like, it's ridiculous. But like I said, personally, I'm up there. And, you know, I even agree with women when they say men shouldn't even be a part of this argument. Like, I even agree with that to a point, personally. But the reality is that men do have a position on this, and they can go vote on it. So I think excluding them is a mistake, because any man, like, anytime can vote on these issues. Like, if they like a politician who's big on abortion, they can vote for or against it. So I do think it's important to influence even the mind of men in these matters. Even though ultimately, what the fuck does a man got to do with it? Because we're not the ones having to tote a damn human being around in us. Like, but shit, like, that's just my position on that. But this ain't an abortion show anyway. There's plenty of people who have way better positions, mostly females, on this than I do. But like I said, I do think it's a mistake to completely exclude men from this argument, or try to, because men will go vote on this shit ultimately. So I think it's important to influence their mind as well. But yeah, that's just how it is. That's why I got my little chart here. That's why I bring this up. Like, if you can't even show me that one of these is a human, like, there's been actually a couple people that tried to pick one of these, and so far, two people, one picked a tortoise and one picked a salamander. So if you can't even tell me the difference between a tortoise and a human, I don't think you're going to make that great of a case that a baby's being murdered in there. So, yeah. Yeah, I hear you, Godwin. My position changed on a lot of things. I think one of the first things that tends to go out here is like the people who are against, like, LGBTQ folks for religious reasons. That's one of the first things to go, because when you drop this ridiculous religion, you realize that was a ridiculous thing to try to hold against somebody, because there's absolutely squat wrong with it outside of this book. It says it's nasty. It says it's an abomination. And actually, it doesn't even say being gay is an abomination. It says the act of a man laying with another man is an abomination. It doesn't say speak to homosexuality at all, which is totally different and wasn't even a concept in the day. Whatever. Yeah, it's just funny that, you know, you drop this religion and you tend to drop a lot of the hateful positions you had on people around it. So. But then again, this is, I say it all the time, this is the religion of division. And Jesus himself even says it. Yes, not an abomination when I do it. It's a beautiful thing. Soft and squishy and meaningful. And hot. Anyway, guys. Alright, so yeah, I think we're even running a bit over. But anyway, don't forget, our best homeboy, Dr. Joshua Bowen, writes a whole bunch of books that you can learn a whole lot of shit from. So don't forget, you can get Dr. Joshua's amazing books on Amazon for not that much, and you can read them and learn some amazing shit from a scholarly perspective. Dr. Joshua Bowen. Also, don't forget, the Rocket City Raisin Conference is coming up this October in Huntsville, Alabama, and it's going to be awesome. And you can get your tickets for that at rocketcityreason.com, and you can come hang out with some of the biggest atheist debaters on the planet. That's right. Some of the most famous ones ever, all going to be there. And it's going to be awesome. Oh, thank you, I Am Time. I hadn't seen you for a minute, buddy. How you been, man? Actually about to wrap up here for the day. Already been on 3 hours now. It's been a pretty good Sabbath. Day 100 in a row. And I will be back tomorrow. At least if I wake up early enough, I think I will. But I probably will. I'm pretty tired today, and I got to work long again today. So I'm guessing I'll be pretty tired when I get home. So I'll probably be up early in the morning. So I'll probably be on tomorrow and then on some more. But one of these days are going to be coming, y'all, when you're going to wake up and the ape ain't going to be here. And you're going to be like, it's just going to be utter chaos and confusion. Nobody's gonna know what to do. But I mean, we're all adults here. We'll have to figure it out. So yeah, exactly. If you're against gay marriage, don't marry a gay guy. Like, I mean, that's all you gotta not do. It's pretty easy. But anyway, guys, much love. Thanks so much for making the Sabbath a good one. Thank you to all the people that come up and talk. Mocha, I still think you're cool, man. Like, got a little lazy there at the end, I think, but Mocha's still okay with me. There's way worse motherfuckers out there than Mocha Pie. Queen, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Watch somebody jump in the damn box now. This sons of bitches. Anyway, guys, day 100 in a row. I'm pretty sure I'll be back tomorrow too, though, because last Sunday was really, really good. So, I mean, like I said, no matter what I do, I'm still going to do a whole bunch of time here. You will not be missing the 8, but starting some point in the near future, I will be taking a day off. I have to, man. Like, this is too much for any human. Even though I kind of hate it, though, too. Like, man, the Christians still out there proselytizing every day. I feel like I got to be here every day, too, in a way. But one of these days, I'm going to have to sleep in because it has been well over 100 days now. Right at 100 days now. But it will continue. So, guys, much love, everybody. Thank you all so, so much for... The channel has grown crazy this 100 days, that's for sure. And it's been fucking awesome. Awesome. And I love you all too. Thank you all so much for the support. Oh, well, I definitely wouldn't have done this without you. I couldn't have made it this far. And we still going, baby. It ain't over yet. But this was day 100. And that's pretty cool. It's just got a nice ring to it. 100 freaking days, man. 100. 100. That's like 100,000 years to God, right? Right? So, it's not just 100 days. This is 100,000 years. Wait a minute. Well, no, it's way longer than that. A day is 1,000 years. It's 1,000,000 fucking years. This math I can't even do. Shit. Oh my God. I've been live streaming for 1,000,000 years in the eyes of the Lord. How cool is that? Yes, it was 100. Yay. Yeah, 100. 100. 100. That's how I'm, like, if I'm in real life and not speaking, like, you know, on the live and stuff, I say 100. It's 100. It's 100. That's my natural, just even flow voice there. Day 100. Day 100. Day 100. Anyway, guys, I love you all. I don't know who's live right now. We go raid somebody, but I'm going to jump off here and go work another day and blow my stinking nose again. Guys, thank you so much for the support, everybody. Much love, y'all. Really do appreciate it. Oh, Tony, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, man. The support I've gotten here has been unbelievable to me. I've said it 1,000 times now, 1,000,000 times in the eyes of God, but I've said it 1,000 times that I'm blown away by how much the channel has grown. Like, it just destroyed my expectations of how fast I thought anybody would want to hear me and like grow the channel this fast. But it's been awesome, guys. So, oh shit, guys, we will see y'all. I'm pretty sure tomorrow. We'll do day 101 tomorrow. But yeah, it has been hard because I'm pretty tired. I ain't stopping yet. God dang it. Slept pretty good. I just wish my nose wasn't running. But anyway, guys, much love. I'm really going this time. Love you all. We'll see y'all tomorrow. I will work harder. Y'all keep pushing me like that. Guys, thanks so much again. 100, day 100 in the books.